All right, man. We're rocking.
All right. All right. Cool. Cool.
So, Spazzy McGee. Where'd the name come from, man?
Oh, actually, that was a grade school nickname growing up. I was a bit of a hyperactive kid growing up, and my friends, we used to sit and play basketball and stuff like that. And they called me Backboard King, and then Spazzy McGee kind of came out of that. They originally called me Spaz, and then my buddy added a little bit of a flourish to it with the McGee part. So
Okay.
but yeah, that's literally where I got the name. So yeah, I was just a hyperactive kid growing up, and so that's what it kind of just stuck. And I am a little bit of a spaz when it comes to a lot of stuff. So it's kind of funny though with Twitch streaming and everything like that. When I usually for the first time, stop in anybody's channel, and even my best friend General Andrews, when I first stopped into his stream, he's like, "Who's this troll like talking to my chat?" Because of my name, it just seems like a trolly name, but no, that's not the case at all. It's just my
Yeah.
nickname growing up. So
Okay. Well, that's good because Danny Dorito was something like I totally joked about with like coworkers in the military, like not too long before I
hmm
got out, and I just went with
yeah.
it. So at least yours has like a real backstory to it. Mine was just kind of a joke that I ran with. So
The Dorito and the Mountain Dew and the 360 no scopes, man.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
every time
man.
I hear your name, I just expect air horns to go off behind you.
That's funny.
So,
So how long have you been streaming, man? Been doing it for a while?
May 1st of 2016. So,
Okay.
yeah, over 4 years, man. It's been a crazy ride, that's for sure.
Okay. Yeah, I started in 2018, so
Well,
got a
yeah,
couple
you
years on me.
started during the what we call the golden era.
The golden era.
Yeah, it's just when everything was like starting to boom. Affiliate was became a thing, and so everybody was starting to make a little more money without having to be
Yeah.
partnered. Just a lot of good things were happening in the movement as far as Twitch is concerned, and yeah, from there, I feel like it's kind of just taken a lot of steps back. So
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on for sure. And then I mean with the pandemic and everything, it's
hmm
just that much more saturated now, so, you
Well,
know.
yeah. I mean, you got all these people, especially entertainers and stuff like that, who were not able to, do anything. They weren't able to do live shows, or there were people on TV series that weren't able to do their TV series. So everybody was having to do everything from home. So I had to find a way to compensate for that. And Twitch just ran and scooped all these people up, and it amazes me right now. You see so many more people who are like what I would consider, mainstream entertainers that are like on the front page right now versus the people who are on the platform and stuff like that. The people you would think they would be pushing, they're pushing all these mainstream people. But the positive side to it all is once everything starts to open up again, which it slowly is now, all those viewers that have come from their, fans and stuff like that, they're going to have to find a place to go. And
Yeah.
luckily, we get to scoop all those people up whenever that happens. That's the cool thing about the market of Twitch is, the big booms come, but when all those people start to fade out, then that viewership gets dispersed to all the people who are actually been on the platform originally.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying to a couple people because I've talked to a lot of other content creators and streamers about how there's been a huge drop in like viewership across all platforms because everybody's going back to work and school and stuff. So,
Mm-hmm.
and then with that, yeah, there's the people who started doing it because they had some free time that can't do it anymore. So we're seeing
Right,
like the
right,
tide
right.
come back, go back out. So seeing who's
Yeah, and
still
it's
there.
funny because there's some people who are like, oh, my viewership's changed. It's gotten worse because everybody's gone back to their jobs or school or what have
Hmm.
you. And I'm just like, no, not really.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
definitely.
initially you'll see that, but eventually, those people are going to have something to do, whether they're studying or, they're in the middle of their job and they want something to
Mhm.
listen to. I mean, eventually they'll trickle back in. I mean, it's just a matter of time, really.
Yeah, I saw myself have a pretty decent little dip. I went from around like 150 average, but I was having a couple TikToks that were like viral going off at the same time. So I don't know how much of that was just because of that.
hmm
But oh, thanks, babe.
That book.
Yeah, she got me a
What,
book.
did she just hand you a Matthew McConaughey book?
Yeah, it's that
All
new
right,
book. I,
all
I
right.
wanted I wanted to read it.
Gonna gonna
I didn't
talk
think she
about Lincolns.
Lincoln's. Yeah. No, I've actually I don't know if you've seen. He's been doing the rounds all over the place. Like he's on
As
like all the
in like talk
podcasts
shows and
and
stuff like that.
yeah, because of his book.
Yeah, no, he's actually like a very like interesting human being, especially,
Yeah.
given his background, his southern roots and everything like that. It's kind of cool to see where he's come from, and then he's just branched out into this huge AAA actor. So yeah, it would be kind of cool to probably read up on his success in life.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know if you've he was on Joe Rogan, so I listened to that episode.
I did not listen to that. Actually, I'll probably listen to that on my drive down south today. That sounds really cool.
So, I guess during this pandemic what he did was like he took a he did like 12-day spurts where he went out to like a cabin and he just wrote. Like no technology, but he was writing based off of going through his 36 years of journals that he did. And so he talks about like just how
Yeah.
things have gone throughout his journey to where he is now, and I guess basically about how he's made mistakes along the way too, that he's human as well. So it's
Yeah.
supposed to be like really relatable. So, and I've always looked
Well,
up to him. I think he's a really good actor. So
that's super super cool. No, I've always enjoyed him as an actor. Just the shifts that he can do as far as doing like comedy stuff all the way to like serious,
yeah.
more grounded roles is just really 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 cool. Um, but yeah, no, it's always amazed me that people can sit and just journal their life away. I could not.
Yeah, I
I'm
can't.
not one of those people that can wake up in the morning and do that. My wife does it. She journals every day, and she reads every day, just about too. She wakes up and does that for about an hour, and it just seems so peaceful and quaint. But I don't know if I could have the attention span to be able to do it.
Yeah, no, I told my girlfriend that I am on my phone or my computer all day. Like I can't even, because of the way that all the content creation works, and then TikTok. You post a TikTok and you're answering comments, you're checking to see how it's doing, stuff like that. So I just feel like I'm always plugged into something. So I was like, I think
You're
at the end of the
always plugged
day,
in. Yeah.
I just want to like read in bed or something for like 20-30 minutes before I go to sleep. No phone. I think that'd be good for my brain. So I saw that book came out, and I was like, I think that's gonna be the first one I'm gonna sit down and read every night. So
Yeah, I need to get myself in that habit of unplugging before I go to bed, because every time I go to lay down, man, it's just like my mind's still racing, my heart's
yeah,
still pumping from the adrenaline of either the
yeah,
stream or the energy drink that I drank before an hour before the
hmm
end of the stream, just something stupid like that. So yeah, I think I need to get myself probably in a little more healthy of a cycle when it comes to all that. My wife's actually been beating my head in over that. She's like, you need to get back on a schedule.
yeah. I mean,
So yeah.
they say that journaling is good. I feel like I could maybe sit down and write down about like goals and things like that. But yeah, like you said, I don't think I
Right.
could do that for more than like 10 minutes a day max. Like I just can't. I'm not a
It,
big writer
yeah.
on what's going on in my head, but
And as there's just so much going on, as especially being a content creator, and especially if you're somebody who is smart and tries to diversify their content, whether it be TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, if you're utilizing especially all the platforms, your mind just can't stop, and you have all this plethora of information that's just kind of flooding into your head.
yeah.
So yeah, writing something down is kind of cathartic in a way when it comes to all that, because at least you're getting your ideas down on paper. I keep a Trello board, and so if I get an idea for my stream or for my content, or something that I think would be a good idea, I'll write it on that Trello board, or I'll write it on my notes on my phone or something like that. And it's a good way to kind of keep myself in check. And dang, I got probably about close to 100 ideas now that I got wrote down. It's just actually implementing them into the content is
Yeah.
kind of the hard part.
Yeah, for sure. I feel you. So what about TikTok? You just got started on there?
Yeah, so the funny thing is, I had kind of had this inkling, so back in September of 2019, so yeah, I went to this Twitch meetup, and it was in St. Louis. I think it was September or October. I can't remember. It was one of those, but it was a Twitch meetup in St. Louis. And I met some people and they were all talking about TikTok and how it was going to be the next big thing for Twitch streamers. And I was just like, but it's so memey, because I watch a lot of different YouTubers and stuff like that, especially PewDiePie, who, they just kind of were knocking on it. I was just like,
Yeah.
nothing's going to come of this, right? And I didn't take it as seriously as, say, something like Vine, which I knew was a huge thing, because I just thought it was literally just all specifically for like memes or like dancing or, this, that, or the other. So I was just like, and I kind of blew it off. And then it was about February, I started to, think like, oh, yeah, I should probably get into this. And I still blew it off. Well, I actually, I raided Bad Bear one night. And then, I started to get to know him and stuff like that. And I rated Bad Bear just like randomly. I just went through the listing and I was like, I want to start to get to know more people in the Call of Duty community. And so I was just like, hey, this guy looks cool. And I just rated him randomly. And then I got on his other platforms and I started to see, on his Twitter, I'm like, man, he doesn't, his analytics don't make sense to me. I'm like, why is he such a huge streamer, and like where is his people coming from, because I like to dig into all that. I'm like, where are they coming from? Because his Twitter, his Twitter's not like really, really huge or anything. His Twitch is, at that time when I originally met him, I think it was only a little over 1,000 people. And so I'm like, man, like this guy, he's doing something right. Like where is he doing something right? And sure enough, like he posted something on his Twitter about his TikTok. And so I was like, okay, I gotta go check this out. And so I downloaded the app and I got on and I checked out his TikTok and I was like, yep, that's where it all comes from. And now I feel like an idiot for not jumping on this back when, before it boomed for Twitch streamers. So
Well, I mean, I think everybody, even people who have, like I just hit 100K on there, and I still like go back and wonder. I'm like, if I had started a couple months earlier, because it really, I think I was like right in the middle of like the last wave, because then everybody started talking about it because of
right.
the bans and stuff like that. So I think a lot of people jumped on at that point, and then like I said, with everybody going back to school and work, and then the creator fund and stuff like that, it just seems like they've really it's definitely harder to grow on there,
It's
you know?
definitely got a lot more serious too.
Yeah.
It was back when I originally first discovered it and everything. And like I said, it was just, just something I
Dances.
just really just kind of blew off because I didn't think that it was, anything but more than just memes. I literally
Yeah.
was like, oh, this is just a meme platform. And eventually the fad will die. I
Yeah.
didn't think that it would actually overtake and be a serious platform like Vine or something like that. So I
Mhm.
just kind of blew it off. So I learned a very valuable lesson, and it'll be the last time that I make this mistake. When something popular like that comes out, jump on it as soon as
Yeah.
you possibly can. And so yeah, it's just really crazy. I mean, look at Mark Clark, for instance. I'm sure he probably started back when TikTok first came out, right?
Yeah.
And now this dude's getting shout outs from people like freaking Tim the Tap Man. And I'm just like, God, like
Yeah, it's
I couldn't even
crazy.
imagine being recognized by the top 1% of Twitch, like
Mhm.
that is like such a huge honor,
Yeah,
So
I was just watching a YouTube video the other day. It was, Tim the Tatman was reacting to Jordy 2D's TikToks. Like, he's just sitting there watching
right.
them, and I'm like, "Dude," like, I remember, like, I don't know, a month or 2 ago, seeing Jordy's, like, first couple of videos, and, like,
Yeah.
he just it just exploded, man. Like, it's
Yeah, he
crazy
was
what
super, super
TikTok can
small,
do.
but he was just memey enough, right?
Yeah.
Like he made his like the Sonic thing is what cracks
Yeah.
me up the most with his content. Is he just this super salty Sonic character?
Yeah.
And I think that's he just made the right choice on what worked for him, and it went viral.
Mhm.
Um, but it's just so weird what goes viral on TikTok. Like they got such a
Yeah.
weird algorithm because there's so many things that tie into it. You got the music, then you got your hashtags, which are, the two key things, but then the content itself, like what's going to draw in eyeballs to it. And, somebody for me who's starting kind of late in the game, but not too much to where it's not like super over popular yet because, they're just now getting bought out by a US company. And once that's finally set in stone, then we're going to I mean, by next year, TikTok, it's going to be untouchable. And so I've been telling all the people that I work with, you got to jump on it. But the weird thing for me that's been working here recently is just duet videos. And, I've made all these videos where I spent a lot of time on them and edited them and made them nice. And a freaking
Yeah.
stupid duet videos got, 1,500, close to 2,000 views now. And I've never gotten that before. So I'm like, if that's what I got to do to get eyeballs on my content so that I can start making, more of my own original content, then heck, I guess that's what I got to do.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, so I've noticed that for me, I have to stick to what kind of works, obviously, you know? Like I feel
Hmm.
like the girlfriend, like the relationship type aspect of my
Oh,
videos and
yeah.
stuff is
That
very
works
popular.
great for you. Yeah.
Yeah, but I've been slowly introducing more and more content where it's just me and like I'm trying new things, and I've noticed that it's starting to build up a little bit where like I can post a couple videos in one day where like my girlfriend's not involved at all and it'll still do decent. So I think my
Yeah.
community is starting to like it's just interesting seeing how the community is like changing and stuff like that. Because definitely at
Right.
first it was a lot of people who like I didn't have as many videos out there yet, so they would show up and they would it would just be like, oh, I liked that video, or like your girlfriend came in and asked how it was how your stream was doing and stuff. But now it's
Yeah.
like they'll be like, oh, you got to try this energy drink next, or you should play this game, or did you watch that new episode of Mandalorian and stuff like that. So it's becoming more personal. It's really cool. So
Yeah. And I think, I don't know, I think they like a lot of people, they like that homey vibe, and
yeah.
despite that, probably being like somewhat scripted, right? How you guys approach that and everything, it's just like, oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I
I
think,
mean, I've definitely seen like both sides of it. I've seen people who like you can tell right away, like yeah, like it's totally like they planned it out and everything. I tell my
hmm,
girlfriend like go find it, like when you get a chance, yeah, find a comment so we can make a TikTok. And so like she'll be like, oh, I found like this one, and she'll like we'll talk and be like, yeah, like that sounds cool. And so like I know she's coming with a comment to ask, but like I don't always know what it
right.
is, or so we try to keep it a little bit of like, like real,
Yeah.
like I don't
Mystery.
always,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, and I think that's why I've been a little more successful with it than some, I think. Because I don't know if you've seen some of it's become a meme now to an extent. Like people will
Yeah.
come in and, it's like, yeah, go make me a sandwich now or something. And it's like, whoa, that's, you know,
Yeah.
but
No, but it's cool, man. That your lady's involved in your content. I think that's something really interesting to see, because I see a lot of couples out there who uh, it's content creation is almost a stress on their relationships,
mhm,
and it's really really cool to kind of see couples who actually work together towards things. Like me and my wife, I can work with her. I could sit in this office with her all freaking day and we wouldn't annoy each other. Like, we love working together.
that's good.
She is a artist, and she actually makes emotes and stuff like that as well, and
Mhm.
does a bunch of different things. Outside of that, she's also wanting to do some YouTube video vlogs and stuff like that too as well. But she helps me from time to time on my content, and so that's really cool that she's involved in your stuff, especially. Yeah. Just so I'm
Yeah.
guessing she just jumped right into it with you, right?
I think yeah, I was just she was like, "Well, have you tried answering comments?" And I was like, "No, I haven't." And that's just she just picked one and it did well. So then we just kept doing it. And like
That's
at
awesome.
first, it was honestly I started answering the comments just by myself, and they were doing okay. But then once people kind of figured out who I was a little bit, like everybody loses interest. It kind of you got to keep people's interest. So we just changed things up and figured out what worked the most. And it's definitely we've used it as kind of like a tool. Like whenever I feel like the views are starting to dip, we'll try introducing more of the like the relationship stuff, and it seems to get the
Right.
engine going again. So
Yeah, keep
yeah,
things fresh, man. That's all you got to do. I think the funniest thing for me too is so I come from a music background, and I can sing and stuff like that and do other things, and I was like, TikTok, yeah, this is the place I can do that. No, I don't get anything on that. I do anything that is like weeby or anime like involved though, and like all these people come out of the freaking woodwork, dude, to
that's
watch that
funny.
crap. So it's just like, okay, I guess that fits my
Yeah.
personality more. I don't know. Like,
Yeah, I mean, you gotta figure out what works for you. Everybody's got their
yeah,
their own little thing that works. You never know
whatever
what's gonna
market it
pop off.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
like the thing that Jordy's been doing with the Sonic suit. Like at first, I was wearing the Dorito bag on my head, but then once I actually was like, all right, I want to trademark this, make this a brand, handle all the legal stuff. It was
right,
like, yeah, I should probably stop doing that until we talk to Frito Lay at some point. Make sure it's okay. So like right now,
right,
I've been kind of just focusing on getting the brand like all legally set up and stuff like that because
and then one
that
day,
that Sonic costume, you never know, man. Like, I hope it doesn't happen because it sucks to see somebody get like destroyed legally. But I mean, they could
oh
say
yeah,
like,
I
"Hey,
mean,
that Sonic
especially
character, you're making money off of it."
Sega and stuff like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know, man. There, it seems like now, with especially with content creation and everything, there just seems to be no limit on these other companies just coming in and trying to like
yeah,
swipe people away from making money, or and I
yeah,
understand, that they're the creators of that specific thing or whatever, and that sure, maybe it's free advertising and all this other junk, and there are a lot of people, but it's still their stuff. So on one hand, I understand, but on the other hand, I feel like there still should be a balance. I mean, look at all the
yeah.
DMCA stuff that's been going on here lately. I mean, look, Dragon Force, their guitarist, Herman Lee, he just got banned on Twitch for playing his music on his stream.
I didn't know about that. That's ridiculous.
Playing his music on his stream, dude. Like,
Yeah,
are you
I'm sure
kidding?
he'll
And
get that figured
and
out.
even he had a fit, man. Like
Yeah,
with Twitch and everything like that, got banned on his on that platform, the platform that was like pushing him super super hard, and they banned him for playing his own music. And so that's a problem right now that Twitch is dealing with, because see, when YouTube started to really take off, they put in the software that allowed there to be like a claim system where, hey,
hmm,
you don't do you legally own this music? If you don't, like, you need to take it down. No, there, I mean, Twitch is literally just straight up banning people. And I think now, with that, I think it's like 4 strikes, or it's like 3 or 4, I think, that, and you're like completely off the platform.
yeah,
So you got all these content creators that are going and deleting old VODs and clips. And I mean, you're getting rid of years and years and years of memories just based on the fact that somebody's going to come in and try and sue you for playing their music on your stream. And it's like, why aren't these companies like reaching out to these content creators and being like, hey, let's work out something where you pay me so many cents for, this video or whatever. It's just like, I don't understand why there hasn't been anything worked out. And YouTube's already jumped on that. They've actually bought out, like these many different companies,
yeah,
that own rights to all these music. And I just don't understand why Twitch isn't doing that. Why are they not going to these record labels directly and being like, hey, let's work out a contract, or because, Twitch just made that new, like music streaming thing. So it's like
hmm,
they could go out and they could talk to a record label and say, hey, like, can we have all these groups, on this, and we'll pay you, 50%. Or
yeah,
75%, or whatever they work out, right? I mean, Amazon is a freaking big enough company that they could make this happen, and they just really haven't went out of their way. And that's kind of why I'm not actually supporting the Twitch music thing, because that doesn't help anybody. That's not helping anybody. That's not making any of the creators any money. And they were trying to get all the music people on the platform to like send them music, and they're like, hey, it's free advertisement. We'll put it on our platform so you can use it as free advertisement. And it's like, yeah, but that's not making me any money. And Harris Heller
yeah,
even talks about this. He's like, why would you put your music on this platform? It's just as much as like, trying to get free art from a graphic artist, and saying that, oh, hey, I'll promote your stuff out there. No,
yeah. It's not the same. Yeah,
yeah, I
it.
mean, unless you are like a Tim the Tatman or
Yeah,
freaking Ninja or somebody like that, where it's actually going to bring you tons of business,
yeah. It's the only time it
more
ever
than
makes
likely
sense.
more than likely your advertisement is not going to be worth much to that person.
Yeah, so what I've been because I've been looking into all the DMCA stuff too, also because I've been back and forth with my lawyer. She specializes in intellectual property, so she's like, that's her
Oh wow.
stuff.
Yeah.
And it sounds like what the issue is right now is like they are trying to basically pressure Twitch to give them the ability to have access to Twitch's copy of the VODs. So even if you're deleting your VODs, still gonna be screwed. So it's really gonna come down to like you have to just not use the music. You just can't use their music or
Right.
pay them.
And
You know?
when they started smacking people here recently, I was like, I'm not even going to mess around with it. Granted, I'm considered, in most people's eyes, small streamer, right? So I know that more than likely my percentage my chance of getting banned is going to be very, very low. But it's not worth the risk,
No, it's
because the
not.
reason
Yeah.
why they're smacking all these bigger content creators is to make an example of them. So once
Yeah.
they start doing that and more people start catching on, then they're going to start smacking literally everybody, and then
Well,
we're going to deal with some serious issues.
I'm sure you saw like Nick Merckx was like talking to Tim the Tatman, saying,
Oh, I
like
saw that
he's
video.
like
Yeah.
I'm not deleting nothing. You didn't talk to who I talked to and all this stuff. I just people that are that size, Nick Merckx, Tim the Tatman, people that size, they're gonna get sued. They're not gonna get DMCA
Oh no,
like
they're just
claims.
going
They're
to
just
get
gonna get
straight up.
sued. Yeah.
Yep. Because
So
they
I don't.
know the money that those guys are bringing in. They know, like,
Yeah.
those are some huge freaking names, man. Like, they shouldn't be playing around with fire like that, and that's why Tim was like yelling at him. He's like, dude, you don't get it. Like,
Yeah.
they are going to destroy you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just
It's.
like,
I mean,
it's cockiness, man. Yeah.
if I was YouTube right now, I feel like YouTube could be like, hey, like we have access to all this music, like you don't have to worry about DMCA stuff with all like they could. I feel like they could come out and be like, hey, come stream over here because we don't have to worry about this as much. They could figure
Right.
something out
No.
first because they've been dealing with it for a while, so they got some more knowledge about that.
Once YouTube figures out the magic that Twitch has, because Twitch has probably one of the best like UIs, and as far as like the look and the chat and the emotes and all that stuff, like, they just have it when it comes to a live streaming platform. Once YouTube figures out that magic,
Yeah.
it's over. It's over for Twitch. I full heartedly agree, and I watch a lot of different people on YouTube that talk about this, and yeah, if they decide to come out, man, it's going to be a big deal, because that platform actually has discoverability. Twitch doesn't have any.
Yeah.
When affiliate first came out, they started to feature. They had this program where if you were a growing content creator, they would actually feature you on the front page.
Hmm.
They completely got rid of that. And I would say that when the big boom happened on Twitch is when, and everybody else usually agrees with this sentiment, but when Ninja played with Drake.
Yeah.
And then we got all these new eyeballs on Twitch, from all over. And then he became the top streamer on the platform from that. When
Yeah.
that happened, Twitch changed completely.
Mhm.
And their mentality on everything. It started to go full force into supporting that top 1% versus trying to, help all of their people. Oh, the people grow. I accidentally hit on my pedal. I got a pedal that changes my sound. But yeah, all the people that, are on their platform. It just doesn't make any sense. Mixer even had the, what was it? They had like the featured streamer thing, the hype train, or what was it called?
I don't know. I didn't really pay attention to Mixer.
Yeah, they had something too, where if a streamer was like hitting like over like 20-30 views or something like that, they would put them on their front page rotation. And that was a big freaking deal. And
Yeah.
I think Twitch is trying to do that with like the recommended channels. Like, I had somebody stop into my stream the other day from a recommended thing on there because I was over like 30 or 40 viewers. I was like, yeah, that that's kind of cool, but that's about it.
Yeah, honestly, I think especially based off of what I've heard and read, I think Twitch is they got some tricks up their sleeve that they're waiting. They don't want to turn stuff on yet until they have to, and I think they're waiting for YouTube to make a move. Because Twitch is they're working on being able to stream up to 4K,
Right.
stuff like that. The discoverability
That
stuff,
that
they
would be
have some
next
things that
level.
they're working
Yeah.
on. I just think that they don't want to start turning things on until they have to, because once they start turning on that discoverability, it's going to be harder for them to manage. So,
Which, by God, don't even get me started on management on this platform. I swear to God, dude. There used to be, even for partners, right? There used to be you would get your own person, like your own representative for your brand. And so
Hmm.
when you get partnered, you would get somebody assigned directly to you that would handle any problems that you had on Twitch, as well as help you get more, discoverability on the platform, whether it be front page slots, etc. Like they would be like your manager of your account and, try to help you succeed on the platform in whatever way that they could do that. My friends, they got partnered, a couple of years back. They literally have to go through the same support system that we do.
Yeah.
And then not to mention, anytime anybody ever has an issue, I mean, you're talking upwards of 3 to 4 weeks. I mean, if you get banned on the platform and you're a smaller content creator, you're looking at a long freaking time before you get an answer back to why you got banned or what happened or anything like that. There's just way too much automation and way too much micromanaging within the corporation itself for it to be successful with its current model. They really need to do a lot of changing with how they have everything set up.
Yeah. I think the reason why they feel like they like I feel like they're just like I said, I think they're waiting it out because they still have like 6 times the viewership or 6 times the audience, you know. If you I
Right.
mean, at least that's what the numbers say. But there is the whole conspiracy that, they're letting viewbotting run rampant and not, cracking down on it because it helps their numbers. But I don't know,
Right.
man. There's so much to it, and I mean, most people don't think about that stuff because they're not a creator. Most people are just a consumer. So you
Right.
know, yeah, there's definitely gonna be some stuff going on. I think Facebook gaming's just it's just never gonna
No,
compete.
and sadly, no offense to the content creators that are on the platform. The platform's just trash. It's
Yeah,
utter trash. The people that I've seen that have gotten success at it already had huge connections before all that. So I mean, their
yep.
viewership's going to transfer wherever they go. A great example of this is actually a guy that I've met, and I know his name's Rexzilla, and he was really, really known for the CS. I think it was CS:GO or Call of Duty. He was on the pro circuit. I can't remember 100%, but he started streaming a game called Star Citizen, which was like a space sim, and he started doing all of his FPS stuff on that. And like he built like this really, really great brand around all of it, and he blew up where he was like thousands of streamers. Well, then Tempo Storm, which is the esports team he's a part of, they got acquired by Facebook, and
Hmm.
Facebook like paid him a lot of money to transfer over to the platform. And without even a second thought, the dude transferred over there, and everybody gave him crap and everything like that. Well, he got a paycheck for making that switch, for one. For
Yeah.
two, on top of that, the dude still has well over thousands of viewers every time he streams.
Hmm.
Now I know that there's a little bit of an issue with Facebook botting views on their streaming platform and stuff like that. I do know that that is a thing, and that has been people are actually like taking them to court on it and stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
I
but
tried streaming on there at the beginning, or like when I really got into it, it was what I really pushed to try and get affiliate in like January of this year, and I made it in February because I finally was like, all right, I want to take this a little more seriously and figure out like, oh, what do I got to do here, to make affiliate.
mhm,
And I tried streaming to Facebook at the same time, and Facebook, the first like 1 or 2 times I streamed to it, I got so many views. I was like, this is crazy. Why is nobody else doing this? And then
right,
I mean, obviously, there's the whole thing about once you're an affiliate, you can't stream to more than one platform at a time.
right,
Obviously, but I was just like, I don't know, like I gotta pay attention to this Facebook thing because maybe they're the one to go with. And then third or fourth time I streamed, it was just like nobody, and I was like, okay, something's fishy here, you know.
yep.
So
And it's just such a weird way how they have it all set up too, especially with like it's like like commenting. It's not actually a chat. Like I would have thought when they acquired Mixer, right? I would have thought they would have taken their entire setup, that they had over on Mixer and applied it to Facebook. Because if they would have done that, honestly, I think it would have freaking been super, super huge for them. But no, they were just like, no, we're literally just taking all of that. We're not going to use any of it. We're just taking all of it,
Mhm.
and we're going to still do things the Facebook way. And it's like, Zuckerberg, you're not doing it right, man.
Yeah.
You may have invented the wheel once before, but you're not really doing it right now.
Yeah. I mean, and then Facebook's I feel like it's slowly moving towards mostly like middle-aged and elderly people, honestly. So
Yeah.
then
I,
that target audience is just not there anymore. So
I literally only have a Facebook for family. That is
yeah.
pretty much it. Family and some, some close friends and stuff like that where we share stuff between each other. But yeah,
I
I
just feel like
rarely use it.
Facebook has become a very toxic platform, you know? Like you go on there
That
and it's
too.
just people arguing about everything and
Oh,
offending each other and stuff. So it's just I don't every time
even
I go on there I'm
yeah,
just
your
like, "Oh
family,
yeah."
your close
Yeah.
friends. I mean, everybody's just freaking going at each other's throats. And I'm just like,
Dude.
okay,
So, I mean,
have
some
at
of
it.
the I stay out of politics, but the stuff that I've seen because of the way this election is going has it just boggled me, man. I'm like, why? How
Oh,
can people
dude.
talk to each other like this, man?
Twitter's grossed me out here recently, especially with all of that. Especially so, you got the streaming community and all these content creators and everything like that. You got these people who are very clearly drawing a line in the sand when it comes to everything, saying, if you vote this person, you're un-American. If you vote this person, unfollow me, unfriend me,
Yeah,
don't watch my content. I don't want you a part of anything. And it's like, since when does my voting preference have any like weight on who I am as a person? Like that just
yeah.
doesn't make any sense. That's it is our right as Americans to be able to vote. And I just don't think that people understand how democracy works. Like I have the free choice to pick who I want. And just like as much as you have a free choice to pick who you want. Like
Yeah.
if I'm a conservative and my friends are complete leftists, which that is, I do have people who are from one side of the
Mhm.
spectrum to the other that are my friends, and it doesn't matter. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
I can sit and I can have a civil conversation with those people, and I don't understand all the hatred behind everything. Like there's just so much hatred. Everything's such a personal attack
Yeah.
on everybody.
I mean, I
I just
consider
don't get it.
yeah, I consider myself pretty moderate. So like I understand both sides and why people
Right.
feel the way they do, but I just don't feel like the way that people go about it is it's very disrespectful the way people talk to each other
Mhm.
about it. And it's always, you're wrong, I'm right, or vice versa. So it's just I hate it. I stay out of it. It's just not I don't I don't want it. I don't want it a part of my life, you know?
Yeah. I just remember it's just so funny, and it's not even that long ago. I remember I was in community college back in 2010, and we had a world religions class, and I just remember sitting and talking about different beliefs and backgrounds, and just talking in like an open forum essentially with one another, and making constructive criticism towards one another, and no one actually being offended in the classroom. Everybody actually just
Mhm.
just giving their points and their viewpoints on everything, and everybody just respecting each other. And if anything got a little heated, everybody would apologize to each other if it got like overly heated or anything.
Yeah.
That this day and age is never going to happen.
Yeah. No, just so the way that
not
people
not
are.
until not
Yeah.
until we start to branch back into that mindset. But I just feel like uh just especially the past 4 years, man, it's just been nothing just but hatred and anger, and yeah, it's just such negativity. And I mean, to the point now where people are actually getting emotionally tethered to the election. I'm seeing people post stuff about I can't stream today. I'm just too emotionally worn down from all the election stuff, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
what?
I so
Like,
I streamed earlier on Tuesday because I just wanted to avoid all the I knew that there was, because I went into people's chats during like right around the time where they were starting to report the numbers and stuff. And
right.
like I went into people's chats and exactly what I expected, just people, who'd you vote for, spamming, Trump or Biden 2020 and just a bunch of, and I was just like, yeah, that's why I didn't stream that night because I normally stream in the afternoon, you know,
Right.
into the early evening. So I streamed in the morning that day, and I might might do some morning streams here and there because it went well. It was a lot more chill. I feel like there was a lot more people that
Morning
were.
streams are more chill, man. Yeah, it's kind of funny.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like the morning ones, like somewhere around like 10 to noon. Those are really
Hmm.
chill, and then the evenings, like after dark, it seems like people wind down and people are more talkative, and because they're actually able to like fully focus on it. But during the day, you can
Right.
tell like people are coming back and forth because people will come back and be like, "I didn't see what you said." It happens a lot. So yeah,
Yep.
it's weird seeing how the streams, just the chat itself is different based off of the time of day. But
Exactly.
yeah, when I just, as an influencer, because I mean that's what you are, right? Like you say something and it's gonna have an effect on what people think and say. Like
Right.
I don't think that using your voice to try and like preach your beliefs and stuff like that about the politics and stuff like that. I just don't feel like it's appropriate. But
No.
it doesn't feel right, man. Like it's
Not in this day. Once again, not in this day and age. If people
yeah
are a lot more open minded, not specific. Like I feel like everything nowadays specifically heavily leans towards one side, right?
yeah
And if you're over that line, guess what? You're going to be quote unquote canceled because you of that belief. So,
yeah
yeah, not in this day and age that you can come out and say that this is my beliefs, this is who I voted for, this etc. Because really, it's just going to spur on more hatred than it is going to bring on good. And I appreciate people who come out and state their beliefs, and I consider them brave for doing so.
yeah
But yeah, I don't
definitely.
know if I'm willing to risk my career on that. It's just like,
Because that's really what you're doing. Like
yeah,
half of your community might just be like, you know what, like I don't like that, and then I'm not gonna support that person. So
I
you
got
know,
for instance, I got a friend, and he is very very adamant about talking about his beliefs on stream, and he's wearing he's wearing a Trump hat and everything, and I'm just like, dude.
that
You were ballsy, bro. You were
yeah.
super super ballsy, dude, because I don't know if I don't think I could
Um,
ever do that, whether I was Biden or Trump. I don't think I could ever do that. Like that's just like, because somebody's going to be angry about it.
yeah, I'm
No
sure he gets
matter
a
what.
lot of like very toxic messages that people just pop in and see it and they say something. I'm
Right.
sure. Um,
You know what's really weird though, so you can't do so anything political, you can't do anything, but as far as like religious goes, I've never really seen any issues. um so me, I specifically, I come from a Christian background, and
yeah,
so when I talk about my beliefs around that and everything like that, usually people are very very open and inviting, and they want
yeah,
to talk about their beliefs and stuff like that. Heck, even on my stream last night I was talking to somebody. He's a heathen, I guess is the how they it's like the Norse belief system, I guess is the best way to put
yeah,
it. But we were actually just talking back and forth in voice chat about that live on my stream, and like there wasn't any offense taken, there wasn't any issues.
yeah.
Because we're not trying to dive deep into that. We were just genuinely interested in each other's beliefs. But yeah, for some strange reason, like everybody's super super emotionally tied into the election.
Yeah, have you paid any attention to Dr. Witnesser?
I've heard about him. I've heard about him.
So his whole thing is he'll go into Fortnite, right? And honestly, because he's on TikTok too, so like that's like, people kept saying like, oh, he's on TikTok, like how do you not know about him? So I finally like looked into him, and I think right now he's in the middle of a move or something, so he hasn't been doing much. Um,
Hmm.
but he basically drops into Fortnite and he'll start talking to random kids and stuff, and then he'll ask them like, hey, like, do you want to come back to you want to keep talking? You want to go back to the my lobby and we'll keep playing together? And he'll just like push it more and more, basically trying to convert them or push the religious beliefs that he
Yeah.
has on them, and
And see,
it's that's where it's not the message, it's the way he
that's
does
the
it,
line right there, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the line. So I grew up playing in metal bands and stuff like that, and touring around and playing shows, and
Yeah, devil
I was the
music.
lead guy. Yeah, the devil music.
That
Yeah, yeah,
devil
yeah.
music.
Yeah. So and it was actually a Christian group, so we were playing with a lot of quote unquote secular groups, I guess would be the best way to put it. But
Yeah.
I remember getting out on stage and talking about stuff, and like people throwing beer bottles at me. And I was like, okay, there's got to be a better way of doing this, right? Because
Yeah.
I noticed the trickle off of other groups that had those beliefs, start to kind of lean back away from trying to get up and essentially just preach on stage, right?
Yeah.
And I think the best way to approach people, especially if you got a belief system, is to just live those beliefs. And if somebody's interested in them, that's when you kind of reel people in.
Yeah.
I think, like I said, gone are the days of the whole fire and brimstone approach.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that people nowadays are going to react to that. Nobody wants anything shoved down their throat, especially
Yeah,
nowadays.
exactly. But I mean,
Um,
it was. I guess he blew up because there was a clip that was going around. He basically told some kid he was going to hell, and the kid like cried or something. So yeah, it's just
Once
I t-
again, fire and brimstone, right?
yeah
That's the old school way of doing things. So yeah, dude, that's awful.
yeah I
That
talked to my mom
that to
about it.
me, as somebody who believes, right? It's just like that to me is just like a spit in the face of our whole belief system when the people do crap like that, because that's not out of love, right?
Yeah, it's I mean
That's out of literally saying I'm better than you. It's not trying to see people
yeah.
eye to eye.
Well, I mean, he averages like somewhere around 350 viewers last I've seen. I'm sure
Oh
when he
yeah, I'm
comes
sure
back
he
from
does
his yeah,
great, because there
but it's
there's still people who think that that's the right way of doing things,
yeah, but go
and
into that
for some
chat,
people,
it's
go ahead.
all toxicity, man. You go into that
Oh, I'm
chat, it's
sure.
all toxicity. It's not there's like one or two people who are saying, "Ah, leave him alone. He's just preaching the good word." But it's mostly just people like trolling him, asking him questions to try and trip him up, stuff like that. Um,
Mhm.
I started talking to him in the chat, and he didn't like my questions, but because I was in there with another
I always like to
streamer.
challenge people. Yeah.
Yeah. I asked him about rated R movies because he was talking about drinking, he was talking about tattoos, stuff like that. And I asked him, I was like, is it a sin to watch rated R movies? And he was like, absolutely. And I was like, what about the Passion of the Christ? And he's like, I don't know if that's rated R. And I was like, it is. We're both going to hell, bro. I was like, and he was all pissed. I was like, uh, yeah,
Oh my gosh, I can't believe that there's still people out there that are that hardcore about it, though. Too,
yeah,
like, so that right there, people like that are the reason why people have such a bad taste in their mouth when it comes to Christians. Because I mean,
yeah,
heck, since I would say the mid 70s up until the early 2000s, like that was the mindset,
yeah,
that this is God. God is the only way, and anybody else who believes otherwise is going to hell, and that's that. Like, and we're going to try to save every single freaking person by shoving it directly down their throat. And it's just like, that's not going, no.
yeah.
This
Like
doesn't
I said,
work.
it's
I
it's
mean,
not even it's not the message, it's just the way he does it. I was talking to my mom about it
mm,
because when I was a kid
right,
growing up, there was a church in our town that had a van that they had like an Xbox and a TV in, and they would literally like just pull up somewhere and like, hey, you want to play some Xbox? And these kids would come up, but then they would like start talking to them about that stuff, and I'm like, see, that's where it gets kind of scummy because they're
right,
using video games as a way to like trap people into. I mean, I don't know if I
right.
want to say trap, but basically bring them in so that they can talk to them. It just doesn't feel right. So
It was the
it
same
feels very
reason. It's the
similar to
same
that.
reason why people don't like it when Twitch features like the army on the front page and they're trying to recruit people and stuff like that. I mean, really.
Yeah,
Granted that I guess that's a whole other freaking bag of marbles, right? But I mean, it's
yeah,
kind of the same kind of thing. It's just like, like just people are trying to recruit people for their cause.
yeah.
So
Because I know there was a huge campaign, um, like 5 or 6 years ago, where like the Air Force was looking for drone pilots because drones was like they were really hammering into
mhm.
the drone program, and so they were like, yeah, it's like playing a video game, like you use the same. So I saw that, and I think that was interesting how they approached that. But I get what you mean. Like if they're just on the front page, um,
For
Yeah.
me, for instance, I don't find any offense to that. You know,
Yeah,
I'm
I
my
don't
dad was in
care.
the
I was in the
army. I got tons
military.
of vets and stuff like that. Obviously, you're a vet.
Yeah.
So yeah, to me, I'm just like, the only people that are going to latch onto that are the people who need that in their life. They need
Yeah.
direction, and they're trying to find a way out. Heck, I almost enlisted myself. I was looking into it and everything like that. My eyesight's crap, so even the recruiter was like, "Dude, you're going to be in a desk job. You're going to be freaking miserable." So I was like, okay, maybe I need to rethink this then, because
Yeah.
yeah, I was actually thinking about going in to either the army or Marines or something like that. And yeah, I was just like, uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
I
mean,
don't have any. I think that is great for people to find direction in their life and to kind of give them that direction. I mean, my cousin, he thought he was going in for his career. He's actually a lieutenant in the army,
okay.
and he spent a couple years in that position, and he was like, I'm done. He's like,
Yeah.
this did what it needed to for me, like it gave me all the experience that I needed. I got to travel, I get to do all these cool things that I never would have been able to do without this experience. But I'm tired of being owned by the
It's
US
exactly how
military.
I felt, man. I was I mean, because I did 6 years, so I was
Oh
getting to the
jeez,
point where
man.
it's like
Yeah.
if I had re-enlisted, I would have been so close to that halfway point, right? Because the minimum is like 3 years you can re-enlist. So it's like once you get to that 9 years, it's like I'm right at the halfway point. I've got 9 years invested. I might as well just go the full 20 and get the retirement. And I didn't like how that was the way that people thought about it. It was like, ah, I might as well, you know. That's 20 years is a big chunk of your life to be owned, you know, because that's
Huge
what you are.
chunk,
You're owned.
man. You
They
were
own
owned,
you.
exactly.
Yeah, you lose your rights. You know, you can't go to Disneyland without asking. It's that's you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
So that's the cool thing though that I got to experience as a kid though is when my dad was enlisted, he actually was stationed over in Kixingen, Germany. And so
mhm,
I actually got to go and live over in Kixingen, Germany for like 4 years, and I got to experience that culture, and that was so freaking awesome. But I also got to go on. I mean, I actually like. I'll have to grab it and send you a picture of it. But I actually still have my military base ID card. I would
mhm,
have to go up to the front gate that was guarded with M16s as a
yeah,
tiny little kid, friggin' 6 years old, go up and show 'em my ID card, and then then they would walk me through and take me to my dad. But I remember hanging around in the barracks and everything like that, and hanging out with all the soldiers, and I got to see that up close and personal, and how they live their day to day lives as soldiers, and yeah, it's pretty eye opening, man. How miserable some of them are.
yeah. That was part of it, man. Like when I was getting out, there was people who told me they're like, ah, you'll be back, man. Like it's just it's so hard out
Yeah,
there as a
I was
civilian.
watching somebody. I was watching one of your old talk shows, and yeah, I saw that you got pretty emotional about that too,
Yeah,
because it's
dude,
just
it just it 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 just it saddened me to see that there's people who just like they don't like they're not happy and they don't like they have no hope outside. So that's why they're like like I felt like they were projecting themselves onto me, you
right.
know. Um and I mean, I'm still in contact with some of those people and like they see what I'm doing and they're like, "Dude, that's awesome, you know, good for you and everything." Um but they've asked me, they're like, "What, you think you're gonna keep doing this, or have you thought about coming back?" And I'm just like, "Yeah, I don't plan on coming back. Like, I would go do this instead if I had to, you know." But I
Right.
mean, thankfully, with the way things have gone, like I've been we've been able to support ourselves off of what I've been making across all the different
Dude, and
revenue
that's
streams I've
such a
made.
blessing. That's so awesome too.
Yeah, I never
Um,
thought it would be like that, so it's
yeah,
humbling.
that's freaking awesome. At the end of the day, man, that's really, really awesome. But yeah, no, it's kind of like the most comparable thing to it is, people who live their entire life in their hometown, or, people who like my hometown, like there was this one factory, which was General Tire.
Yeah,
Um, and that was like the epitome of success in my town. And so it's like you got out of high school and you went and worked for General Tire for friggin', 40 plus years until your back gives out, or your shoulders or your knees or whatever,
hmm,
turning tires. And then like that's it. Like, there you go. Like you did good. You made, $30+ an hour, and that's your life. And I have so many friends who are still doing that and are miserable and unhappy, and they feel like if they leave that, like they're betraying their families and all this other thing. It's just like,
Yeah.
no, like you're worth more than that. Like, and especially your freaking body. Like, I was talking to my grandpa about this because he actually worked there and retired and everything like that. And I was like, yeah, you can go and work there, but you're not going to be able to enjoy your retirement because your body's going to be freaking aching up and down from all this strenuous work that you've put on your body for all those years. And he's like, yep.
Yeah.
He's like, he can barely walk around or sit down, without hurting. And it's just like, that's so freaking
Yeah.
miserable.
I
And
really
you
messed
meet
up my
people,
knees.
yeah, you meet
Yeah.
people who are 70 years old and look like they're 50 because they did what they love for a living. Jerry Seinfeld is actually a great example of this. We went and saw him live, I think a year or two ago, and he's like, God, he's like 60 plus. Here, let me look real quick. Jerry Seinfeld age. He's 66. That
Okay.
dude freaking ran out onto the stage, man, was jumping around and freaking, just super, super lively. And even like he doesn't look like he's aged a bit. And it's because he's done what he loves for a living.
Yeah.
Granted, that dude has so freaking much money he could get anything done to
Yeah.
make
Yeah.
himself look that young. But still, though, like he even talks about that on stage. He goes, like, I don't feel like I've aged a bit because I've done what I've loved for a living.
Hmm.
And that to me speaks volumes. And I was selling my soul away for 7 years in the car industry for $12 an hour, man.
Yeah. At some point, you have to stop and think, like, am I happy? And if the answer is, I think so, then you have to start thinking, like, all right, is this stress worth it? Because
Hmm.
when I was in the military, the job satisfaction was starting to kind of go away because I did search and rescue. So like the first couple of cases where like, I actually saved people. It was like, holy crap, I'm actually doing this, That's what I joined to do.
Right.
But then on the other side, there's those nights where you get called up for like a flare sighting, which could have been a firework. It could have been somebody just, oh, this is expired, shot it off for fun, and then now we're
Hmm.
searching all night. And so like I saw the other side of it where it just kind of it really, I hate to talk about it like that, but you're kind of just out there looking for stuff that's not out there, And then
Yeah.
a lot of times you got to stop and think you're like kind of just saving stupid people. Like like there was a guy who got a shark attack. He's surfing right by this reef over here in like shark infested waters. It's like, no wonder you got bit by a shark, man. Like,
Yeah.
I get the
Oh yeah,
surf
and
is
then
cool,
then there
but
then there becomes a certain sort of
yeah.
numbness to it, right? On
Yeah.
top of it, you kind of lose your humanity and all of it. My family also is very, very. I have a ton of family who are cops and stuff like that. My mom was a dispatcher for many, many years. My dad was a cop for many, many years,
Yeah.
and my stepdad was also a cop. And they always talk about just how like stressed out and like numb it made them. To live that day to day to day. To see the
Yeah.
same. And they said that it was like only like maybe like top 5% were people that actually needed help and they made a difference in their lives. And then the rest of it was just these people who just kept repeating the same crap over and over and over again. And that starts to really whittle down on your, who you are. And yeah,
Yeah. There was definitely
props to
like
freaking people who do that for a living. That's all I gotta
yeah,
say.
for real. There's definitely like the handful of cases I had where I was like I really made a difference today, But then there was those other
Mhm.
cases where I was like Bill Burr joked about it. You listen to Bill Burr, comedian?
Yes.
He
Yep.
he he had a joke about the Coast Guard. He had this whole little skit that he talked about, and I don't know if it was a skit. I think it was just on his podcast because he just rambles. But he was like he was talking about the Coast Guard, and he's like he's like, how do you not pull him into the helicopter and like look him right in the face and go, yeah, you dummy, like why are you over here like on your boat in a hurricane? Like it's probably not a good idea to be out here right now, you know,
Yeah.
stuff like that, and it's just like
Yeah, no, and honestly, I wish you know you could do stuff like that. Be like, you idiot.
Yeah. I mean, in the
But no,
moment, that those are
yeah,
the highlights for me is when we were, pulling people out of the water, saving a sinking boat and stuff like that. So it wasn't I never thought about it in the moment, but afterwards I was just like, man, why were they out there? Like,
yeah,
why'd you take this boat that obviously wasn't like seaworthy out, stuff like that. But but
hmm
then there's the other side of the job too is just I was a mechanic, so I didn't really care for that side of it, and that was the majority of the job was being a mechanic. You flew like 30% of the time, and so that
yeah,
was a big factor why I decided to get out. I just felt like the stress of being a mechanic wasn't really worth it to me.
right.
But I mean, whenever anybody pops into my Twitch chat or anything like that and is like, "Hey, I'm thinking about joining the army," I'm always just like, "Hey, just make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. Like, if you're doing it for the
Right.
money, that's definitely not it." And I usually explain, I'm like, I didn't know, like when I think it was freshman year of high school, I already had started thinking like, what do I want to do? And I started thinking about the military. My hometown, there's a big Marine Corps air station, and
Oh, dang. Yeah.
my real father was a Marine, and he turned out to be a meth head. So that
Oh
left a
God.
bad taste in
Yeah.
my mouth.
Me and you
Um,
got a lot more in common than I realized.
that's unfortunate.
Yeah, my dad is he also he suffers from drinking. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah, addiction sucks. But yeah, continue.
And then like I was a lifeguard for a couple years, and so I would see these like drunk Marines come to the pool, and just like I saw the way they acted, and I was just like, and they were very like anytime you saw one of them like get pissed off about something, it was like they always wanted to fight right away. Like the Marines, the way that they train you is like you're the best of the best, you're the first in, stuff like that. So they're very
Oh yeah,
gung
you're out
ho,
there to crack
yeah.
heads, devil dog. Yeah.
Um, so like my brother-in-law was a Marine, so like no offense, like I'm not saying that Marines are bad or anything. I'm just saying that like it definitely seemed like kind of like the jocks of the military,
Yeah, each military branch has like their stigmas for sure. Because I
Yeah.
mean, my grandfather, you know, he served in Vietnam, and
Hmm.
you know, he was a Marine and stuff like that. He's seen some crap, man.
Yeah, but
He's seen some crap, like, and then you know, like I said, my dad was in the army, and then my wife, her dad was a Navy man, and
mhm.
so, I mean, I've gotten to personally listen to their stories and hear how each one of them have kind of experienced life through all that, and it's really interesting how different everything is. But yeah, I would say the Marines are probably the most tight but
Mhm.
people in the military services, and it's yeah,
I mean,
they push them to be like
you can
first responders. Yeah,
you can usually you can usually figure out just by looking at somebody whether they used to be a Marine or not. Like the older ones.
they
Like
seem more
it's
scarred.
no, like honestly, like I feel like they still have the same haircut, stuff. I mean, that's all military, but like I just feel like 9 times out of 10 when I'm like, "Hey, were you in the military?" They're like, "Yeah, I was a Marine." Like, and I'm like, "Okay." Like they just kind of stick to those ways. It's very drilled into like,
Yep.
drilled into their brain. And I chose the Coast Guard because my stepfather was in the Coast Guard, and I just I saw the way that he treated my mom and the way that he was, and I was like I feel like the Coast Guard made him the man that he was, and I was like I feel like that could do
Right.
some good for me, especially since I didn't know what I wanted to do. I had thought about film school, but it's so expensive. I just I didn't want to ask my parents to like
Yeah.
try and help me with that, so I was like, well, I'll try and figure out what I want to do, and maybe I'll make it a career. Maybe I'll decide I want to get out, and then college is free. Um, and then I found out that I didn't need to go to film school, and so I finally pulled the trigger and got out because I had some opportunities to come work in the film industry, and then everything was shutting down. So I ended up doing this stuff, and then here I am. And I did get a phone
That's
call
crazy.
about a month ago asking me to come work on a TV set. Like it was starting to open back up a little bit, and I
Mhm.
ended up saying that I think I was just gonna keep doing this, and if it doesn't work out, I can always go back to that. Like they were like, just call me. So, um,
That's one thing that's always amazed me about the entertainment industry is you got all these people who go and they spend, you know, 4+ years in college and they never do anything with it. And then you got people who literally just jump straight into it and find any way that they can to get into the industry and they make it.
Yeah. It really is
And so it's like
connections.
I literally I so the most impactful thing for me when I was in college is I was sitting down and I was talking to one of my buddies, and he was going for a 4-year degree and everything
Mhm.
like that. And he was just kind of finishing a couple side classes and everything at our community college that I was attending. And he's like, I was sitting and I was telling him, I was like, man, I'd really like to, I'd like to start my own recording studio and, branch
Mhm.
out into that. And that's why I'm doing this. And he goes, don't. He's like, dude, I've spent so much money. And he says, I'll tell you right now, he says, I've learned more, actually working with studio, working for other studios or working on my own or just heck getting up on YouTube and checking stuff out. He said, I've learned more doing that than they've ever taught me in class. And he said, usually 9 times out of 10, what they teach you in school, especially when it involves any sort of software or anything like that, he says it's already
Mhm.
obsolete by the time you get out. He's
Yeah.
like, so don't make my mistake. Don't spend the money. And so I never did. And then, then everything became so much more accessible ever since then. So it's just like you got guys who are literally they just whip out a laptop and they go out and they buy a little $100 little fiber wire box so they can plug their instruments in or their keyboard or what have you,
Yeah.
and there you go. They got a quote unquote professional studio set up, right?
Yeah, and then at that point, all it take like, what really has to speak for itself is just your work, like, what you come up with, right?
Right.
So
And I mean, it's the same thing with Twitch, right?
yeah, it's the same thing with content creation in
The the
general.
the big boom in Twitch is when they made it accessible for people on console to be able to directly stream
Yeah.
to Twitch from their console, right?
Yeah, it
So
opened up the door.
everybody was jumping into it and stuff like that. And so that became more accessible, but the people who are still more successful with it are the people who invest in, either a PC or at least a laptop or something to be able to put overlays on their stream, to be able to mess with their audio a little more and stuff like that. So it now that's become such a staple and standard that I see people like they spend very very few months on console because
Mhm.
they're like, crap, I got all these people that I'm competing with, like, yeah, this isn't going to work for that long.
Yeah, I see how people start out, they have, like, a laptop and a console, and you see
Hmm.
I mean, that's when you really see, like, the big improvements is because they're starting out, like, basing on the basic level, you know? Like, I had a buddy
Right.
who, finally upgraded to, like, a real PC, but he still streams on PS4, but, like, it just everything looks better, you know?
So
So
much better. Yeah. It's kind of crazy, but the funny thing is though is about the entertainment industry too. There's always somebody out there that's going to be better than you, and you
oh,
have to
yeah.
be like 10 steps ahead of those people. You could do everything right. You can have all the nice equipment. Heck, you could be like freaking, I've mentioned Harris Heller a lot, but you could be like him, and have a freaking $30,000 freaking studio set up,
Yeah.
two PC set up, everything's set up just perfectly, and nobody watches you.
Mhm. Do you see it?
I've
I
met
see it
some.
on TikTok all the time. Sorry, you can go ahead.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, no, no, no. Yeah, yeah. It's just so crazy how much money people put into it and then like they get nothing back in return. And I think a lot of it has to do with work ethic. I think that
Yeah.
is the biggest thing. Like you can have all the money in the world to be able to put towards stuff, but if you don't have the work ethic to continue to do this, I mean, because like you said at the beginning of all this, every single minute of your day is spent just about on thinking on making content creation. I mean, look at PewDiePie is a great example of this. He said he spent the last 10 years making YouTube videos every single day.
Yeah.
Like if he was on vacation, he was making YouTube videos. If he was hanging out with family, he was making YouTube videos. I mean, just to me, like that is just like that's so much freaking work. And granted, he's had a huge payout for it, but there's not a lot of people who get to that level.
Yeah.
And
No,
so
I mean, that's what I
there's
when people say that they wanna start this, like, they wanna start doing that, I'm like, "Alright, well, like, you gotta understand that, like, it's not you," like, a lot of them. I'm like, I don't just stream, because a lot of people are like, "Oh, you're a
right.
full-time streamer." I'm like, "No, I'm a full-time content creator. I spend at least 2 times as much, yeah, 2 times as much time making content as I do streaming, at least, like, on a bad
Right.
day." Um, because I stream for, like, 2 or 3
Right.
hours unless it's a special occasion, but, yeah, it's I just don't think people understand that it's not as simple as, getting a PC, turning it on, and then expecting everybody to like, come by and show up.
Just
Like there,
pile in,
it just
right?
doesn't work like that. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's really about not only the content that you put out, but the freaking the effort. Like I said, the effort that you put into it, and you got to be willing to sacrifice some of your time to be able to make that happen. I mean, even as a musician, so
Hmm.
that's one thing that I got to learn at an early age. I mean, I started playing music and playing shows and stuff like that. Actually, even helping growing up, I actually helped run the local concert venue at a super young age.
Yeah.
Like I didn't realize how big of a deal that was back
Hmm.
then, because I was 13 and I was helping run concerts.
Yeah.
And it's just like that's super huge that I had the capability and to be able to get people together. And I looking back on it, I'm just like, man, I wonder how funny these people thought it was. This 13-year-old kid talking to these 20-plus-year-old guys who've been touring around the world and telling them what time they're going to be on,
Yeah.
he, getting them food and everything like that and talking to him. And I just like, man, I really hustled as a kid.
Yeah.
And so, but the music industry taught me that though, that you have to freaking put in the work. And if you don't put in the work, you're not going to see any success out of it. I mean, there's guys who were touring the road for, freaking 4 or 5 years straight and not seeing anything out of it. So it's like
Yeah.
you got to
Yeah.
be one step ahead of it and find that perfect balance on top of it all, because that's the other thing too, is that comes into it, right? Is you also can't work too hard.
Yeah.
Because
You're
if you
telling
work
me,
too
man.
hard,
It's there's
yeah,
days where I'm like, I just feel so overwhelmed, but it's like, I don't know.
right,
My motivation to push through it is I know that if I start slacking, people will see that, and like there's other people there when that huge drop happened, like because I felt that drop. I know some people did, some people didn't,
right,
but I felt that drop because I think my audience is a little younger too. Um, but like I felt that drop when everybody went to school and work, and yeah, it came back up and kind of steadied out. But when that drop was initially happening, and like every day, like I was seeing like a little bit less viewers, to the like I went from, I think I peaked around like 154, and it went down. There were some days where I streamed there was 67, and
hmm
so to basically get my audience cut in half, yeah, I was thinking, I was like, should I start looking for a job? Like, what do I gotta do?
right,
And the thing that like helped me push through that was that I knew that those people who ask me like, how do you do this, how do you get better, how do you do that, if I just give up, people who look up to me in that sense are going to be like, he gave up, like how am I supposed to do this, how am I supposed to like,
right.
start making content and get like, it's got to be hard, because like it is. I'm very open about how stressful it is, so
Oh, dude, it's super stressful. I mean, specifically, content creation in general. I mean, like I said, the entertainment industry is already hard as it is, right? And so with what we do, it could end in a snap of a finger.
hmm.
Literally, I mean,
Yeah.
look at all those content creators that are on Mixer, right? Those people who literally had built their careers around that platform and were starting to really start to take off. Microsoft is hooking them up with all these connections, and then just gone.
Yeah.
No warning, no preparation, nothing, just freaking gone. I
Yeah.
mean, in the same, Harris Heller talks about it with Vine.
Yeah.
He put all of his eggs in one basket. He literally was
Yeah,
just
that's
like, I'm
exactly
going
what
to
he
focus
says.
on
Yeah.
Vine and nothing else. Was one of the biggest freaking content creators on Vine, and then gone. And
Yeah.
he had to. It took him 2 years to recover from that. So yeah, it's really freaking crazy, but there's a lot of risk in it, but there's also a lot of reward in it too, because when you start to see that success, you really start to see that success from it. And dude, you have no idea how blessed you are. I mean, I'm sure you understand how blessed you are, but to be only, a couple of years into it and be at where you're at, dude, you should be extremely proud. Like
I am, man.
really,
Yeah.
like
And I
because I mean,
understand. Yeah, it can
I've been
all
at
go
it
away.
4 years, right? I've been at it 4 years, and I've watched my viewership go up into the hundreds,
Yeah.
down to like freaking 15 viewers, right?
Hmm.
And really, the one thing I've learned about everything, over this time is one, make sure that the people that you're working with are, you know, just as invested in you as you are in them, you know.
Yeah.
Two, the second biggest thing is, you know, invest in your freaking self and build your own brand. Like, you know, don't try to like overextend yourself for other people unless they're overextending themselves for you.
Yeah.
Because I've spent the first couple of years of my Twitch career, because that's my thing, is I'm a very I think that's one of my strengths, is I'm a very, very genuine person. I'm very, very genuine with my content and, you know, what I do and how I work with people. And I got a really, really big heart. And so I put my first couple of years in Twitch into people who did not give a crap about me. they didn't care about my success. They wanted to know what I was doing for them, for their success. And so I get to watch all these people excel in their careers while I was still on the same level. And it was because I was putting all my work into their content. And it was, you know, it took some time, but I finally realized it's like, and it actually took a couple of my good friends smacking me in the face and being like, dude, you need to get rid of these people in your life. And you need to start focusing on your content so that your content can help other people. And I was, you know, I just had it so wrapped up in my head that I needed to be invested in, you know, other people's content, when really I needed to be invested in my own content so that I could help spread the wealth of my growth to other people. And that's once, you know, the cogs started turning, our community started taking off, all these other little things started to, you know, kind of happen. And I mean, that's where, for instance, like, you know, right now I'm at, so before I switched to Call of Duty, I was actually sitting at probably in between 40 and 80 viewers playing a game called Star Citizen.
Yeah.
And it's a very, very small niche game. It's a space simulator game. And it's, you know, they've got a lot of money tied into it. I'm sure you've heard about it.
Yeah.
Probably in passing from a couple other people.
I've heard people call it that.
Citizen, exactly. Yeah. No. I mean, that game has got so much money into it, right?
Yeah.
But that's also the core problem of that community, is that it is so heavily based around giveaways and handouts and stuff like that. So I was going through and I was looking at my analytics and junk and seeing how much money I had made, you know, and I was like, okay, this month, like I did really, really, really well. Oh, but I also gave away like friggin' $200-$300 away in ships that month.
Yeah.
Okay. So we got to take that out of that cut, you know? So really I just made my average. So I did the numbers, and it was, I think it was in October. Yeah. So it was last month. Or no, the month before that, sorry, September. September was my highest grossing month that I've ever made on Twitch, from playing a game that is super oversaturated with less viewers, you know. So I had 15 viewers and it was my highest grossing month. And I just, that kind of like hit me super, super hard. You know, it was just like, okay, so people are investing in me more because they can tell that I love my you know, that I love the content that I'm putting out.
Yeah.
You know, that to me speaks volumes. So it's like, it's just like you know, you got 60 some viewers, but you got probably tons of subs, because, you know, people can tell that you enjoy the content that you're putting out, that you love what you're doing. And so that's why I always tell, you know, people that I work with, it's like, don't be so invested in the viewership, be invested in the people that are there. Yeah. Because viewership's going to come and go, you know, eyeballs are going to come and go. It's just, that's just how it is. That's how this market works. It's the people that are consistently there that you need to be paying attention to, and making sure that, you know, that you're putting out content that they're happy with as well. Because they're there to watch you. You're their entertainment. And so the reason why I quit Star Citizen is my content had gotten so negative. I was so unhappy with the game that I was playing, and I was literally just playing it just to get that, you know, that 40 plus viewership. Yeah. Just because I was just so hungry for partnership or what have you. Right. Yeah. But it wasn't giving me anything extra except those views. And then, you know, then my chat wasn't active and stuff like that after a while. And so literally I'm just sitting there with a bunch of people. I'm not making any money off of it. I'm not really doing that. It's just like, okay, I need to change my mindset. And so then I started branching out into where my heart and soul is, which is shooters. And I was like, you know what? I have never, not once, gotten burned out on playing shooters. Like,
Yeah.
That's my love. Like I was just like I could literally play this, and that's why I was playing Call of Duty kind of mixed in here and there, but it was just like it was my side content. I was like, I'm never gonna grow on this. Like this isn't gonna actually do anything for me because it's such an oversaturated game.
Yeah.
And the more and more I the more and more I got into it, I'm like, man, I'm just not like I can't get enough of playing this game. Like I'm having so much fun playing this game, and people are enjoying watching me make content around it. I'm just like, I'm gonna try going full dive into it, and it paid off, you know. And I'm still smart about what I do. That's why I play, Hunt Showdown usually at the beginning of my streams and stuff like that, because that
Yeah, I
kind of
see you
like
playing
boosts
that.
my viewership a little bit. I was originally actually the top streamer for that game, and it was also another game that I had 40 plus viewers on, but it was like I was working with some toxic people in it,
Mhm.
so I kind of branched out from it because just that whole situation kind of put a bad taste in my mouth. Now I'm coming back into it, so now I'm getting all those people that used to watch me back in the day,
Mhm.
and so yeah, I'm kind of playing it smart on that side of the spectrum, but also still keeping my toes in Call of Duty and everything, because I feel like you know the people that I've worked with in this community are just friggin', they really love playing the game, and they really love, the content that they're putting into it. And I've met a lot of really cool people that once again are invested in what I'm doing just as much as I'm invested in what they're doing. And so it's just been a really, really awesome ride. But it's been cool to, like I said, it's been cool to work with all the people on TikTok, man,
Yeah, it's
and to get
it's
to meet. It's such an open platform.
it
I
is.
tell you, dude, people on Twitch are so jaded. At the end of the day, like, and as you've progressed, I'm sure you've realized this yourself, but um, you get people that are a couple years in, and they're just really not open to working with anybody. Like, they
Mhm.
just don't
Yeah.
want to do anything. So you, I would say that. So you got your like people that are like in between your 5 and 20 viewers, then you go from your 20 to 40, and then 40 onwards you got people who are really starting to take it more seriously and starting to blow up and stuff like that. It's really hard to work with people that are usually that 30 plus viewership, because they're so protective
Yeah.
of that viewership. They think that you're trying to steal what they put together, and it's like,
Yeah.
no, I just want to work with you. Like, I
Mhm.
want you to get to know my community, and I want to get to know your community. That's how this
Yeah.
all works. It's how we all grow, right? And there's just no sharing of that. And when I got on TikTok, like, I realized how quickly, because it's such a young platform, everybody's just so willing to work with one another.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
it's
it's
just so
yeah.
weird to me. It's so weird to me. I could put something out on Twitter and say, hey, I want to collab with people this week. Nothing. Complete
Yeah.
silence. I put something out on TikTok. I got, 20 something DMs in my freaking, inbox. It's really,
Yeah.
really cool,
It's a
and
different community, yeah.
I think it's, once again, I randomly ran into Bad Bear, and from that has branched out all these other, cool people in the industry that, I've now really grown to respect. And it's only been a couple months, um,
Yeah.
I, God, I didn't think I'd be talking to some of the people that I'm talking to, especially you, it's just really,
Dude, and
really, really cool.
I feel bad, man, because I had meant to reach out to you sooner, but like just I had stuff going on with the whole legal stuff and things like that. I've just been caught up in a million different things. Um
Dude.
and then
Yeah.
like when you reached out about the front page thing, I was just like, dude, I feel so bad cuz like I for for you to reach out to me about that when I hadn't really talked to you as much as I'd planned to. I mean, I
Right.
would totally have understood if you had not, you know? Because it's like you said, you gotta
Right.
invest as
Right.
much
Right.
time into people as they invest into you, you know?
But once again, you get to where your growth. I mean, even I've seen this in Bad Bear, um, and Big Rob, and all these other guys, Mark Clark. You got all
Mhm.
these people who are trying to leech off of your growth, off of the work that you've put in, and so you start to become a lot more guarded in
Mhm.
your content. Like I was saying earlier, it's really hard to work with people who are starting to branch out and grow, because they've already got their core people that they're working with, the people that they can trust. but then again, they also have those people that they thought they could trust, that
Yeah.
screw them over.
I just went through something like where I thought
Yeah,
somebody was a friend, and I had gotten some weird vibes off them before, but I was like, ah, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. And then
right.
somebody came forward and was like, yeah, like there's stuff going on, and I was just like, that's unfortunate, man, because like you trust somebody,
Right.
you think that they're a friend, and then you find out that they have ill intentions, like yeah, you have to be careful, you know. Not everybody's
Yep.
got their best, your best interest.
I so I've been running since I started my streaming adventure since 2016. It was actually the like fall of 2016. I started my community, the 8-Bit Dojo, and we originally started it because we saw a lot of these follow for follow communities out there, people who
Yeah,
were literally just trying to boost each other's viewership or follows or what have
yeah,
you, in an inorganic way. And not only that, only the like top 10, like I would say like the top tier streamers were the ones that were actually getting any growth from it because they were the heroes, and this is also happening on TikTok. I'm starting to see all these people who are putting out pity content and oh, I'm trying to help you, and it's just like, no, they're not. I mean, there's some of them that are actually helping their communities, but some of them are literally just grasping for an extra couple views in hopes that you'll come along. And um so we were just tired of that, just seeing communities built on that. So we were like, we want to actually build a community where we're actually teaching people not only how to run their streams and to do it in a successful way, but also do it run their businesses in a successful way. And yeah, we've seen tons of people come, we've seen tons come in, we've seen tons of people leave, and really the ones that stick around are the ones that are willing to put in the work. And
hmm
just like you said, there's people that I've worked with for years and thought they were invested in me, and they've turned around and decided that they were going to be more selfish than selfless. And so that's kind of become our slogan is to be selfless, not selfish. It's
that's good.
because you start like you said, you start to see that turn in the tide when you start
hmm
working with somebody and they're giving you 110%, you're giving them 110%, and then all of a sudden there's this fade out, right?
Yeah,
Of them working with you or supporting you in any way, or maybe they felt like they've gotten everything that they needed out of you, and now they're going to dip out so that they can go and do the same thing to somebody else. And I
I
can't
mean,
tell you how many times that people have tried that
I
with
feel
us
like
now.
one of the best ways to kind of gauge whether somebody's legit a friend and they're trying to grow with you, they're not trying to just like grow off you, is their content.
Right.
If you start seeing the exact same stuff that you're doing from them, that's a big red flag. So
Yeah.
that's one thing that I've noticed with people is like I start collabing with somebody or start hanging out with them, and all of a sudden their stuff starts looking like mine. And I'm like, all right, that's
Mhm.
probably not the best sign. Um, so it's just I I get a lot of DMs where they're saying people are saying like, "Hey, love the content." They have a question about streaming or something like that, and I'll answer that. And like, "Oh, thanks,
Right.
man. Like, I really appreciate everything." And then it's like, then it comes where they're like, "So I just wanted to see if you wanted to collab or something like that." And I'm like, to me, that's
Or
disingenuine, because like somebody like you're
no, my
straightforward,
favorite
you
is when
know?
they ask for advice and then you never see them again.
Yeah, there's that too. Yeah,
That's my favorite. Like at least in your situation, they're like, oh hey, I want to actually work with you and be included in your content. Which once again, they're just trying to see if you can send your 60 plus people over to them, right? Because
yeah,
they think that that's how it works, right?
yeah,
When I was collabing with Bad Bear, guess what? I didn't get his 80 viewers or whatever
yeah,
in my channel watching me. I had like one or two people stop in, that are trying to support him, by
yeah,
coming over and saying hi to me. But I'm not going to take his viewership. They're there to watch him.
Hmm. Yeah.
Me collabing with you is just to make that connection, and strengthen that bond as content creators so
Yeah.
that our communities feel comfortable, going to one another's streams or, watching, their each other's TikToks, etc. And yeah, it's just really, really kind of funny how people just think that it's just, oh, I can just come in and I can do this and I'm gonna all of a sudden see success out of it.
Yeah. I
There's
mean,
not very many people like that. I mean, heck, think of the people that, for instance, Mark Clark, shouts out people, right?
yeah,
And
but it's
those
become like a
people
meme,
blow.
you know?
Right,
Yeah.
right. But those people, so there's people that are actually like they've blown up from it and everything, uh, but they don't know how to handle 60 plus
Yeah.
viewers. They don't know how to handle that kind of growth and stuff like that. And then eventually they either become too egotistical from that, from that blessing that that's been bestowed on them,
Yeah.
or or they can't handle the stress of how busy their lives have become because of all that blow up.
Yeah. I start playing catch up, and yeah, it's I've
What
seen it happen before
what's
where
really
people kind of
funny
blow
is
up and
so a great example of this is I'm sure you know who Corpse is, right? Corpse Husband or something like that.
no, I've never
He's
heard
been
of.
playing with all the big YouTubers, friggin' PewDiePie, Markiplier,
Okay.
Jacksepticeye, all these guys. Well, anyways, he got big because he was playing Among Us, and he has a really, really like deep, low voice.
Yeah.
And he just started randomly just playing with people and jumping in people's lobbies. And he was a YouTuber, and I would go to say that he was kind of failing at making content creation for a living.
Hmm.
And literally, the dude was just going in and just jumping in, and he had I think he had pretty much stopped doing YouTube for quite a while at this point, and he was just stopping in and just hanging out with people and playing video games. And
Yeah.
people liked his personality and his low voice, and so they started, hey, do you got a YouTube? And they started promoting him, and now he's like freaking got like almost 3 million people and 3 million subs and everything. But he put in all that work, so he knows what has been given to him, and so he's doing everything that he can to honor that growth.
Yeah.
But sadly enough, I mean, there's just not a lot of people that that can handle that kind of boom when they're just starting out, and I don't think a lot of people
Yeah.
know what that means too. On top of it, I mean, like you and Bad Bear, like you guys are freaking, you guys grew really, really fast, and I mean, you guys are like getting to the point now. You're just like, God, stop emailing me about collabs. Stop, stop doing this crap.
Yeah, I mean, it's my focus right now is like I'm trying to make sure that I'm trying to set things up so that I can continue, like, because if you just continue growing but you're not prepared for it, like you said, like how are you going to handle that,
Mhm.
you know? And
Right.
I mean, right now I've started to shift my focus more to YouTube a little bit because I feel like YouTube is there's potential there, you know? Like TikTok,
Right.
the one downside to TikTok is that besides those few select people who are very very supportive, like they really really like you for you and your content, you know, most of them aren't going to stick around the whole stream. That's a lot to ask from for
Not only
somebody,
that,
you
I
know.
mean, they only want to consume 15 seconds, 30
Yeah,
seconds of content,
exactly.
right?
Yeah, because
I
that's what they're
I
used to with
literally had
TikTok.
a I had a buddy of mine. He his name is Vic Spankleton, and he did a Eddie Van Halen cover and on his TikTok, and he blew up because of it. And he's like, "Oh well, if you like, if you like this, if you come over to my stream, I'll play you a couple covers and everything like that, and you can watch." And he's like, "No, man, that's too much of an investment. I'm just here to watch, 1 minute clips." Like
Yeah,
literally said that in the comments, and I was like,
yeah.
"Yeah,
That
well, at least he was
that's
honest."
that's why I think like YouTube. It's people who discover you on YouTube.
YouTube,
They're used to longer
yeah.
form content, so
Oh my gosh.
there's more
If you
value
get
there.
people transferred from YouTube, you'll have those viewers forever. Like no
Yeah.
matter what. It's just the funniest thing I've seen, when people blow up on YouTube, those viewers are some of the best freaking viewers because, they've had the most experience, I guess, in content creation, I guess would be the best way to put it. So the
Yeah.
people that they support, like they full heartedly support. I mean, that's why you got people who've been watching, all the top dogs on YouTube for 10 plus years.
Yeah.
Is because they love those creators. So yeah, I don't blame you for investing in that for sure.
Yeah, it's well, YouTube is just there's a it takes a lot more work, a lot more time and effort to make something stand out, you know, whereas
Mhm.
TikTok you could spend 5 minutes making a video and it could go viral. So it's just it's a whole different beast, and I think that's why I mean Harris
Well, and the
Heller
discoverability is so much better on it too, I
on
think.
YouTube or oh on TikTok, yeah, yeah. But
Well, on YouTube, I believe YouTube. Once you find your whatever your magic is on
oh
that
okay,
platform,
I
yeah,
got you.
you do very very well on that platform. TikTok is such like I said, it's not really like a
TikTok,
scripted algorithm.
yeah, it changes just as fast as
Daily,
people go viral.
almost
Yeah.
daily. Yeah.
That's but like I've seen those creators that they go viral, and then it's like you said, they're like trying to play catch up, trying to handle it, trying to let alone continue growing. You know, like that's a lot to juggle,
Yeah.
and so a lot of times you see it kind of, and I feel like I'm fortunate because it wasn't really like that where it was like a huge explosion and then straight down. I did have a
Yeah.
couple instances where my viewership was definitely higher than it normally would be because I had a couple TikToks that were doing well. I think the highest I
Hmm.
ever had was like I started with like 623 viewers, but then it
Jeez.
still dwindled down to that 150 or whatever it was. Like it's still like you said, those people are not used to sticking around for that long. So I think
Right.
TikTok is good for. I feel like TikTok is one of those things where you have to find that balance because it's not like YouTube. You know, you're not going to
Nope.
get the same type of people from it. So I've like I said, I've started to shift my focus, and it's hard because TikTok has become part of my daily like life. You know, like I if I don't
Right.
post something on TikTok, I feel like I'm shooting myself in the foot. Like I'm just, so I got to keep that engine
Hmm.
going. Um, and I mean, luckily, like I'm starting to figure out. There's days where I'm like, I do not know what to make a TikTok about, and then like one little thing will happen. I'm like, there you go, there's a TikTok. YouTube is completely different. You can. I've found myself. I feel like I'm rambling. I've found
No,
myself
you're fine.
editing. I I found myself editing a video and then halfway through it go, why am I making this? This is not what I don't my heart's not in this video. Like I started making people were like, "Hey, you should make a review of the Cold War beta," and I was like, "You know what? That's a good idea." And I get halfway through editing it, and I'm just like, I just feel like I'm forcing myself to make this, and so I just scrapped it,
Right.
you know. But then there's like an hour or two that I just threw away. Whereas with TikTok, if you're spending that much time making a TikTok, an hour or two, you're doing it wrong because it's just it's
Yeah.
too much time, too much time.
30 minutes max maybe
Yeah,
from what I've realized because I mean
yeah,
like I said there's TikToks that I've invested in quite a bit of time and it's gotten 10 viewers and then literally best example of it is I got a video of me and my wife like dabbing in Target and like it got more views than the video that I put in a ton of time into. So it's just like that's how TikTok works. It's like if you put too much time into it, guess what, it's probably not going to go viral.
yeah. I think that's one of the big problems. I mean, unless you're like straight up. See, because the gaming clips thing, I feel like that's one of the things where it's different. It's come to the point where it's either got to be a crazy good funny clip, you got to have a great personality, or you got to be able to edit it to make it look nice and like keep people's attention. You know what I mean? Like it's one or the other. You
Right,
see so many
because
gaming
it's
clips
now
now.
it's an
Yeah,
oversaturated market. Everybody's doing it because
yeah,
they're like, oh, now because of the US companies are buying out TikTok and stuff like that. Now you got all these people that are actually coming onto the platform and taking it more seriously because they don't think they're going to be hacked or whatever the reason that they didn't want to get on the platform. And so now they're like, oh, there's Twitch streamers on here. I could just literally just slap my clip on here and I'm going to get
yeah,
TikTok famous. Well, no, about
yeah.
millions of other people have already thought that they could do that as well, and you should have
It
been doing that a year
it's
ago.
It's interesting though because like I go through now and like obviously my For You page is mostly streamer related stuff. Believe
Yeah.
it or not, it's actually I've thought about making more I'm really into movies and TV and I've thought about making more like movie and TV related content because I did that. We posted the one TikTok about the Mandalorian and it did really well. Um,
Hmm.
and I've started to notice in my
Oh,
For You
such a good
page,
show, man.
it is,
Oh,
man. I can't wait for this
I'm
next
sure
episode.
like you were like every time you watch that show, just the cinematics and everything, you're just like, oh.
Yeah, yeah.
And I just found out about sorry to kind of throw this
You're
off, but
fine.
I just found out about the LED panels that they use for some of the scenes,
Yeah,
and I had no idea, and that just blew my mind. I was like, that's that's the next step in cinematics, is using those panels to actually put people in these real sets.
yeah,
It's just really weird, but yeah, some of the actors are talking about just walking onto the set, and it's like, man, I feel like I'm here.
yeah,
It makes it so much easier for them to act, and for it to be
yeah,
more of a connection with the scene and everything like that. And so yeah,
yeah. They're not
I
talking
it
about a
makes
bunch of
me
green
so excited.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, the green screen, yeah, it's taking out green screen. Like, green screen is so outdated. And it's a big reason why I'm actually slowly branching out. So that's why I got my nice camera. I'm going to be taking out my green screen behind me, and I'm going to actually have a green screen mounted on my wall, because I want to do like little bonus things on my stream for little green screen scenes. But then I want a nice like background and everything like that for my just the regular part of my stream. But yeah, green screen is just such outdated technology, and so it's really really cool that they're starting to implement in stuff like that. But go ahead,
yeah.
sorry.
No, you're fine. I've been doing like the push-ups and air squats. I totally, when we move into another place, I want to get like where like I have like a little pull-up bar and stuff like that, and then make like, because I have a green screen, I want to like, or I can just put a sheet on the wall or whatever. But I would totally think it would be so funny to have like you're in a gym, like it's like, all right, let's go do
Yeah,
these air squats or whatever, and there's the gym and everything. Um,
yeah, I got a buddy of mine. He does fitness stuff, and like he plays Star Citizen, but he actually has a video that he made, and it's like a couple hour long video clip of him being like on one of the pads where you land your ships.
yeah,
And so like that's his backdrop for his workout
that's
streams and
funny.
stuff, so he looks like he's actually on the pad. So
I mean, Dr. Disrespect is one of those people who's really taken that to the extreme, and you can see that
oh
like
my
it's
god,
just.
that dude's scenes, like I can only imagine how much those cost, dude.
I mean,
Those 3D scenes, yeah.
that's where it really comes down to, like, how much are you investing in yourself, you know? Because I
Hmm.
mean, you look at like Harris Heller, and like that guy's just now starting to like, because did he already buy his house, or is he just? I can't remember.
I
He was
don't
talking
know.
about how he's looking to like actually buy a house, because that's why we're moving out of LA. It's just not realistic
Oh
here.
god.
It's just not.
Yeah, dude. I honestly I don't know how people live around there. So I got a buddy who lives in the one of the ritzier parts of San Fran, and
Yeah, that's where I was stationed.
he lives with his family, because that's the only way you can live near there, is if you literally all pile in a house together, because it costs that much to live there.
Yeah,
I mean, they own their home and everything, but like Jesus,
dude, sell that home and get the hell out of there. That's what I'm
yeah.
saying, man. Sell it, go
Oh,
buy a
he
mansion in
grew up
Texas.
there. He won't ever leave. He won't ever leave. I told him that. I said we should just
Yeah.
all just pack up and go move to like Arizona or Texas or something.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking
Illinois
at,
is horrible too, man. Illinois is really bad as well.
yeah,
So, but
the
I feel
we're
it.
looking at the desert states. I'm from Arizona, so I know that there's just not really much there for me as far as this stuff goes. Like there's some job
Yeah.
opportunities in New Mexico and Nevada, as well as like some set work, because I want to go be like an extra or something, because I still want to be involved with that and make those connections, and because I
Right.
think that's just a whole nother realm, to dive into. And then like I noticed that like the more you put yourself out there into different stuff, like I mean even the podcast thing, it's like a whole nother thing.
Hmm.
I just noticed that people have, when they find out that you do everything that you do, like for you, I didn't know you did the music stuff. I have a whole nother respect for you
Right.
because you do that. Um,
Right.
but I feel like people take you more seriously when they find out that like you don't just do this or do that. Like you're trying to
Yeah.
diversify and get your feet into other things. You're jumping in and trying. You're constantly learning. You're just soaking everything up like a sponge. I have a way different respect for people like that. Because they're not just chilling around.
Uh,
Like,
Ninja, I would say, is probably one of the
holy
best people
crap,
when it comes
dude.
to that stuff.
Yeah. I
That
mean, you.
that guy So my buddy Rexzilla that I was telling you about, he kind of does the similar thing, but he makes his brand to where it's something that, Ninja too, they make it something where you want to invest in it out on outside sources. So Ninja has taken his brand and literally branched out into all these other huge things. Like, what was it, Adidas that he worked with,
Yeah,
or who was it?
I think
What company
so.
was it that he
Was
worked?
it? I thought it was
It
Adidas.
was a
I could be
sneaker
wrong.
company. He worked with Final Mouse on his own Ninja
Hmm.
mouse. I mean, just all these little different little products that he's putting
Yeah,
out there, and then also getting on mainstream media. Like, I thought it was so funny when he was on Hidden Singer. Like,
yeah.
that
Well,
was hilarious because nobody knew
people,
who he was. Like, Nick Cannon was like,
yeah.
"Oh my god, that's Ninja," and like everybody
Everybody's
sitting
like,
at the judges
yeah.
table was like, "Who's this?"
I feel like there's
There's this
this
blue hair guy.
I feel like there's this weird misconception that like once you get that big, like, oh, you got it made, now you can just chill. It's like, no,
Mhm.
like that's when it really, like, now you're trying to stay up there, like to keep growing as Ninja. You know what I mean? Like that's nobody else is at that point. Like he's in uncharted territory.
As a business person, you always have to figure out ways to make money out of your money.
Yeah,
I mean,
that
really, in terms of everything,
yeah,
is you have to find out ways to invest yourself further into other things. I mean, Professor Broman, he's got the coffee company that he made
yeah,
with a couple other content creators. What was it, West Coast Coffee or something like that? But
yeah,
that's making him probably more money than what he was making off of streaming.
yeah,
Because he built this product around something that he really really loved, which is coffee. And he made all the branding super super nice, and then kind of geared some of it towards gamers
yeah.
and content creators, and now it's a freaking $1 million business. So
Yeah, I wonder. Harris Teller is one of those guys that I study that guy like a lab rat because he just you never know what that guy's gonna do next. The Stream Beats thing blew me away when he came out with that, and like I mean
that
that's
that
where he's been
alone, man,
investing
I
all
was
his
just
money,
like, oh.
and then
he
like
he he talks about how that's made him more money than anything else he does.
yeah, but I mean he also understands that like all of a sudden it could just kind of like like especially when
Cut out.
the Twitch soundtrack thing came, he made his video on that. And I mean, it was fishy that like here's this new Twitch soundtrack thing, and then all these DMCA warnings get sent out. It's like you see what they're
Hmm.
trying to do, and but
Well,
like
not only that, they're trying to take money from people like Harris, who had this next level idea,
yeah,
and they're like, oh, that could be
well,
money
because
we could be making.
they see the potential.
Yeah.
Um, but I
And they
mean,
killed. What made me mad about that is they killed Twitch Sings, and people were building their content off of that. I had a couple friends who just gotten partner, and were growing just off of Twitch Sings, and now it's gone. Like, they just completely nuked it just so they could go and make money for themselves versus investing in their content creators. And so that's it's a big
yeah,
reason why I don't bleed purple.
yeah. I mean, Twitch is one of those things where like I'm very very thankful for where I am and stuff like that. But I see the frustrations, and
Oh yeah.
it never stops. Doesn't matter how big you are. Like you see like Nick Merckx and them complaining about it, and it's just like everybody knows
At
that
the
there's
end of
some
the day, it's a
issues.
yeah. It's going to be your platform, whatever you're going to make your success off of, and if that platform fails, hopefully you've got yourself out there enough on other platforms to
Exactly. Yeah. Gotta do
continue
what Harris
fighting.
Heller said, diversify. I feel like the three
Yep.
that I focus the most on are Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. And then Twitch is like I
Hmm.
said, people they're like, oh, so like you're a full time streamer. No, like, I don't stream 40 hours a week, or you know what I mean? It's half that maybe.
No, if
So
if anything, and this is a big thing that I also tell people that I work with is like, don't, if you're full time especially, don't spend friggin' 40 hours a week on streaming,
yeah.
because that's you're going to make no, unless you got like hundreds and hundreds of viewers and you're making crazy money every time you go live. It's not worth that huge time sink. If anything, you should be spending a max of maybe, I don't know, I would like to say 16 hours, maybe upwards of 20 on streaming.
Yeah, that's
If you're
about where I
really
am,
if
yeah.
you're really going max, right? If you wanted to have like a big long stream, like me, I do 3 6-hour streams.
Yeah.
Um, really, I could get away with doing 3 hour streams.
hmm But the
um,
where I'm at right now is I just reapplied for partner, so I'm trying to do the shorter streams just to kind of play it safe. I don't want my numbers to like
right,
fluctuate too much.
my
Um,
man, you know
so
how it works.
that's where my head's at right now. But I mean, I hate that like it's such a big like thing in the back of my head, the whole partner thing. But then at the same time, I'm like,
Right,
but once I make partner, that's when I can like really try new things because I like I'm over that hurdle, and I know that that might mean a dip in
right,
views once I make it. But I know that there's I feel like there's about an average of 30 or 40 viewers that I know would stick around no matter what. Is how I feel right
right,
now. So I would love to do just chatting streams where like I just on a Sunday for an hour I'm just hey Q&A, let's just hang out, let's talk about that Mandalorian episode,
right.
let's do this, let's do that.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny, when watching your live TikToks and like how much more you because it seems like you really really like to get personal with
Oh
people
yeah,
and interact with
it's
people,
my favorite part
and
about it.
it's been really easy to talk to you this entire time too. So yeah, that's definitely one of your strengths. So I could see why you'd want to just sit and just chill with people.
Yeah, that's the whole reason I do this, man, is because like I've done those collaborations where like I don't sit and talk to people, and it's like you got that ice to break. It's just not the same as like if me and you right after this went and jumped into a game of Call of Duty, we don't have we know each other a little bit now, so it's just a whole different
Yep.
energy, and I think that's very
Right.
important because I've done those collaborations where like it's like yeah, so where are you from, like you're just trying to get to know each other and everybody's watching, they're like what's
while
going
while
on.
while you're trying
Yeah,
to freaking win, right?
yeah, it's yeah,
It gets super awkward. Yeah, no, this is honestly like if my advice to you is this is honestly a great way to break the ice with people too, especially
yeah,
people that you would want to consider, collaborating with on a
absolutely,
serious
yeah,
level is just pull them into a freaking talk show.
yeah.
And
Right now the hardest thing for me with collaborations is I've been sticking to my little time slot in the afternoons pretty religiously because the whole partner thing, and so I feel bad when people are like, yeah, I would love to collab, but I don't stream till like 7 o'clock at night, and it's like that's where like I would totally reach out to Bad Bear and want to collab more, but I would have to move my schedule a lot, so it's like that's where the
right.
dilemma is right now. I've been meaning
Well,
I
and
do need to
actually
reach out to him and get. I've never played duos with
I
him. Like we
I
need to just do duos.
yeah, so my most recent thing that I've realized too is that I've noticed a dip out in my streams when I end with Call of Duty, because guess what? Those late at night streams, that's when all, some of the top dogs are jumping on to Call of Duty and playing Call of Duty for the
Yeah.
night. And so I've noticed a dip in my views. And so I'm actually thinking about flip flopping, starting my stream with Call of Duty and ending with Hunt Showdown so that I can end with a higher viewership. Because to me, like, the reason why I want to end on that higher note is because then I can give somebody a more impactful raid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I
Absolutely.
said, I don't focus too much on the numbers side of everything, but when I go to do that raid at the end of the night, that's just another way for me to network with other people. That's just another
hmm
branch. So if I can send, versus having, freaking 15 people, if I can send 40 people, which is usually what I hit when I'm playing Hunt, if I can send 40 people to someone, they're going to freaking lose their minds, especially a new streamer.
How hard is
And
it to
so
get into
that's,
that game? Hunt
Hunt
Showdown.
Showdown,
Yeah.
dude. If you want to get into it, let's do it.
All
I'll
right.
show you how to
I'm
get into it.
always looking at trying new things.
So it's like Escape from Tarkov,
Okay, I like that
but
game.
you don't like Escape?
No, I like Escape from Tarkov. Yeah.
Oh, okay,
I'm
okay,
waiting
okay.
for the next
Yeah,
wipe.
so it's like that in the sense that if you die, you lose your character and all your equipment and stuff like that.
Okay.
But you go and you hunt down, so you have to find clues and you hunt down these demons, and you can have one bounty or two bounties. And
Okay.
so then you find them, you kill them, then you collect their bounty, and then you try to get out of the map. While other teams are also trying to do the same thing. So that's kind of where it all kind of pulls together. But yeah, you get experience, and then the cool thing about it is you can actually use your experience points for like perks and stuff like that. They've come a long way. So I stopped playing it back in 2018. I was actually, I was connected with the devs with it and everything like that. And I know a lot of people in the game, but the game had just been so tilted in the wrong direction. I didn't want to play it anymore.
Yeah.
And then I just recently got on. I'm like, man, they fixed everything that I wanted them to fix. And it's just, it's just been 2 years. So finally the game's at where it needs to be. So yeah, if
Yeah.
you
I
want to get
was
into that, dude, I can get you the hookup. We'll make that happen.
yeah, I was just looking at it. Yeah. I
It's a lot of fun.
yeah, it looks interesting. So
The,
I'll
the thing
definitely
that makes that game for me more than anything is the proximity chat.
Oh, so it's one of
Um,
those. Okay.
yes,
Okay.
so you can talk to people while you're fighting them,
Yeah.
or you can talk to them when they're dead because there's like that little bit of time that they're sitting there. And
Yeah.
so usually, so right now, originally when I first played it, it was the Bayou Bushwhacking Boys, and it was me and this other dude, and we kind of had a falling out, and I just didn't want to use that name anymore. I was like, I don't want to use that because it's connected to that. So now it's the pee pee poo poo posse.
Okay. I could get into that.
And so that's what I say every time I kill people now. Is I was like,
Yeah.
you've been hit by the pee pee poo poo posse.
There you go.
And people are like, what the crap was that?
How long
It's
have you
just
been playing it? Like a pretty long
oh,
time, or?
yeah, like I said, I played it like when it first released up until about the end of 2018, and then I stopped playing it because they started messing with a lot of stuff and then taking it in a direction I didn't like where the game was going. Like I said, I had also some uh negative experiences in the community with some people that I was making content with, and so it was just like I just kind of slowly pushed myself out of it. And now I've been recently coming back in, and there's a lot of changes, but it's not much different from what its core was. So yeah, I've been playing it. Heck, I think I have close to probably 1,000 hours in it, if I'm not
Okay.
mistaken.
And
Quite a bit of time.
one thing I've been thinking about also is I might want to start just recording, not actually streaming, and playing with friends and stuff. Because I feel like that's different too. Because then I don't have you don't have to worry about like the how many views you got and stuff like that. Like you could just have fun and make content out of
Right.
that, and then based off of whether people like that content or not, you could choose to stream that. So that's something I've thought about. So yeah, I might have to grab that and try that out with you, see how that is.
Dude, that
Because
would be a
I've
ton of
seen
fun.
it and it
Yeah,
looks like fun. So for sure.
it's just silliness, man. You have your sweats in it. It's just like any other shooter.
Yeah.
So it gets kind of annoying in some things, and there are, there's plenty of meta in it, but no, it's a blast, dude. You would definitely like it.
Okay. So, dude, besides I mean, obviously the music stuff, and then all the content creation. What are your hobbies, man? Like, I'm into martial arts, but everything's shut down. Like, I'm a big gym gym rat and stuff like
It's
that.
kind of
But
funny when your hobby becomes your career, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
that's,
I get
yeah,
you.
gaming originally, gaming was originally my hobby. Music, is kind of always been a passion of mine growing up, and I kind of stopped really hardcore with that back in 2011, and I'm just now recently getting back into singing and playing guitar and stuff like that. I actually sold a bunch of my music equipment before I had lost my job back in November, and I just now recently need to, like, I've been thinking about actually purchasing a new guitar and stuff like that. So but I had sold all my music equipment to get nicer, newer equipment, and then that happened, and I was like, I'm gonna hold off.
Yeah.
So, but no, I'm starting to write music with my old buddy that I grew up with, McSpankleton. I had mentioned earlier. Me and him grew up together, and so we're gonna start writing music and doing stuff like that. Outside of that, really, I don't have any other hobbies. I mean, I guess if you want to consider working out a hobby, I don't.
Yeah, I got you. Um,
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. What would be another hobby? I mean, like you said, I like watching TV shows and stuff like that, movies and anime is another thing.
you got a
Hmm.
favorite movie, TV show?
TV show. God, dude, I could tell you. So obviously, movie, I'm probably gonna lean more towards some of the Star Wars movies.
Okay.
The TV show, God, dude, there's just so many out there. More recently, I would probably say me and my wife have actually started watching Sabrina,
Okay.
the Netflix series.
Yeah, we watched a little
Uh,
bit of that. We kind of bounce back and
super
forth.
It's super good. So I like anything kind of like Stranger Things and stuff like that. I
Yeah.
like anything with like that 80s vibe, especially when they get the cinematics right and it just
Hmm.
feels like an older, show. I'm just like, I
Have you
love everything
watched
from like the 80s, man. So
Have you watched Cobra Kai?
no, I want to. It's on my list,
That
man.
the
It's
whole
definitely
thing
on my
feels
list.
like a cheesy 80s movie. I think you'd like it.
Yeah. So actually, originally all my stream stuff was based around the Karate Kid, and I
Really?
actually, I
How have you
actually
not
wore the
watched it?
headband. Yeah, I actually wore the headband, and my sub badges currently right now are actually the flower
Okay.
from the headband.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I've eventually I'm going to be branching out and doing more of a cyberpunk kind of vibe to all my
There you go.
stuff. But yeah, no, that was originally where everything kind of started for
Okay.
me. So yeah, I'm a huge Karate Kid fan. It's just yeah, I just haven't gotten around to watching Cobra Kai.
Yeah, I'm all over the place with my movies and TV. I've pretty much watched everything. I'm not super big into like foreign stuff or anything, but like I've seen. Have you ever heard of The Raid?
Mm-mm. I have not.
So
Oh.
that's one of those I think Indonesian movies where like the fighting is real. They're actually fighting each other. Like they're
Ooh.
full contact and everything, so it's brutal. Um, so like I like stuff like that because I really respect
So
martial
have you
arts.
watched? You better have watched these if you haven't. You need to. Ip Man.
My dad told me he's like you got to watch them, but I haven't seen them.
Oh, dude, your dad's right. Ip Man. If you're a fan of anything fighting or karate or anything like that, yeah, Ip Man's gonna be where it's at. So it's actually based around the guy. I don't know if you've heard, but based around the guy who trained Bruce Lee.
Okay,
So that's where
I'm interested.
the whole basis of the show. And then there's like I think third movie or more of the last one I can't remember, but Bruce Lee's introduced, and so they got an
Yeah,
actor that pretends to be Bruce Lee. It's really cool.
I guess the biggest factor with whether I watch something or not is how like because I've seen some low budget stuff where you can't tell it's low budget, but like if it has that campy low budget feel, it's hard for me to like get into it. It feels too fake to me.
Hmm.
I can't escape, you know, because it keeps reminding me that it's like bad acting or something. Cobra Kai kind of rides that line because they're going for that
Yeah,
80s cheesy feel, but like they know what they are. So, but
there's so many B movies out there, man, that I've watched and I really really enjoy.
I mean, there's some that are so bad they're good, you know, like The
Right.
Room or something like that, like where it's just cringe for the whole
Right.
time.
Yes, The Room. Oh my gosh. So that's actually another one I haven't gotten a chance to watch, but I know all the memes behind
Yeah.
it. But
Or like
yeah.
when I was stationed on a boat, right at a boot camp for like a year, and they had a hard drive that was just playing movies all day, you know, and so like you would turn on the TV and like Zombievers would be on or something stupid like that. So like I get the whole like Sharknado type of goofiness, but
Hmm.
um, now my favorite movie is probably Blade Runner 2049 at the moment. That's where I'm at.
Really? Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, dude. I just want to like rip out one of the scenes. I mean, in both the Blade Runners, really. I just
Yeah.
want to rip them out and just make that my office.
I'm so the I respect the original a lot. I find myself that I've tried watching the first one a couple times with other people and I just can't get into it as much. There's
Yep.
definitely
It's a lot more
that
dark, I would
I think
say.
it's Ridley Scott. Ridley Scott's vibes are just not for everybody, and I find myself on the fence with him. I prefer more of Ridley Scott's historical stuff like Black Hawk Down and you know anytime he makes anything like Aliens
Well,
kind
Ridley
of
Scott made the new one too, though the new Blade Runner.
No, he didn't. It was Denis Villeneuve, the guy who made like Sicario and Prisoners and
Oh, I
stuff
thought
like
he
that.
helped on the new one. He didn't actually
I don't think so. I think
have
he
anything to
might
do
have
with it.
executive produced it, but I think it was just you know it was like oh Ridley Scott's behind it too. You know, kind of like for
Yeah,
namesake.
that's kind of funny because Ridley Scott's actually one of my favorite producers.
I like Ridley Scott. I just don't like I said. I don't like everything that he makes. I prefer like The
Right.
Martian. The Martian was
Alien,
really good,
dude. Alien
but
is, I would say, is probably his biggest strength, especially with the Prometheus and the newer ones that they've come out with. Um,
yeah.
if you get a chance to watch
I've seen them.
some of the newer, yeah, okay, yeah, they're really
Yeah, they're
really
good.
good. I
I
really
I
enjoy
liked
them.
Alien Covenant for the most part. Do you like that one?
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah.
No, it was good. Yeah, it was definitely good.
Prometheus. I feel like Prometheus. That one took some risks because people were like, "How tied is
It
it
was
to like
slow.
the yeah?"
It was slow
Um,
in its approach, but I think what was really cool. So I remember watching Prometheus in theaters, and I had no idea that it was like a prequel to everything. So
my
then at the
friends were
end, it
like,
was like,
"Yeah,
yeah. So then at the end, they were like, they showed all the alien stuff, and I was like, oh my god, this is an alien movie, and I like freaked out in the theater.
yeah."
So
I
I
was
loved how he did it.
I was always kind of more of a Predator guy. So like
You're
the
either one
alien
or the other,
stuff.
right?
I mean, I guess I've never. Well, the thing is, people are gonna give me shit about this. I've never seen Aliens. That's like the only one I've never seen, and people say it's the best one. And that one's not Ridley Scott. That's James Cameron, isn't it?
Oh god.
Am I wrong? People
You
tell me
just
I
gave
gotta
me
watch that
heartburn.
one.
The
Sorry.
original is the best, and anybody who says otherwise should be smacked.
I hear it's like it's completely different vibes, because Alien
Oh, it's
is
so
just the one.
weird, man. It's like, okay, so it is a typical late 90s movie. Like, if that gives
Okay.
you any idea, it is a
Okay.
late 90s sci-fi movie. Like, I would put Aliens on the same scale as like Blade or Underworld in terms of
Really?
like
Okay.
how its mood is set. So it's kind of
Okay.
like over the top
hmm
and cheesy and slight in a slight way, but it's entertaining to watch. It's
Yeah.
not like it's a bad movie. It's just so vastly different from the mood that Ridley Scott set in the original Alien.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I'm one of those guys who thinks that like Terminator 2 is like the best action movie ever made. So I like James
okay, it
Cameron
is
to that
really good
extent.
though.
Yeah.
Terminator 2 is probably,
Yeah.
I mean,
Um,
they
yeah,
just did so many new things with that movie. So
I've never seen the whole movie, but I watched a documentary on that movie, The Abyss. You know that
mhm.
movie? I
Yep.
did not know how much shit that crew went through to make that movie. People were
Mm.
drowning, people were, they were over budget, over deadlines. James Cameron like almost got fired a couple times. Like just it sounded like a mess. And like I think
It's
that's
a total
why
mess.
Avatar had that same kind of thing, but they spent so much more time doing it. I feel like it kind of paid off. But The Abyss, like it's just not. A lot
Avatar's
of
so
people have never
good,
even heard
man.
of
I
that.
can't wait for the second one.
I'm indifferent about Avatar. I respect it. I think the technology is really cool, but the story to me, it's like I like Dances with Wolves better. I feel like that movie did that story better. Or like
Right.
Pocahontas. Like it's that same story.
You gotta kind of like teeter on with anything sci-fi, right? You
Yeah.
have to kind of like teeter the story on it being stereotypical,
hmm
but also not too stereotypical. And
Yeah.
so
I
yeah,
think it played it safe, is what they did. They played it
yeah,
very safe.
it definitely did. So I'm wondering if he's gonna take more risks with the new one or not, but
I think he
we'll
is because
see.
he's trying to make three of them back to back to back. So he's got to come up with something different. It's gonna. I mean, I think they're saying the next one's gonna be like mostly underwater or something, like the underwater
You want to
world
know
part of
the
it.
more okay, now that we're talking about movies, the movie that really gave me the most chills just recently was Ready Player One.
Really?
Like how yeah,
Okay.
I really liked it. I once again I think it was just because of the whole nostalgia, all the nostalgia that was behind it. All the little Easter eggs that they had in the movie, but also just whole concept behind it. And it was based
Yeah.
off a book too, but I don't know, it just gave me that same childhood like joy that I had with
Yeah.
watching like Back to the Future or Star Wars or movies like that. But it was like a new concept, so I was just like, man, I can't
They're
wait till they
making
come
they're
out with a
making
new
Ready
one.
Player 2, right? They're making another one.
Yep,
Is Steven
yep.
Spielberg gonna do that one too?
I have no idea, but
I hope so.
it was just good. My wife bought me like the Blu-ray the year it came out, and she's like,
Yeah. I
"You
can
love
respect
this
that
movie?
one.
Here you go."
I can respect that movie. I think I've only seen it once. I saw it in the theater though. So yeah, I
Probably
see all the
watched it 10
nostalgia and
times.
everything. It's pretty cool. I'll have to watch that one again. I don't know if my girlfriend's seen that one. I think she did.
Mm.
Yeah. For me, like, because I have a hard time picking like a favorite movie, but I still think Blade Runner 2049 is just. I find myself like thinking about that one the most. Um,
Yeah.
it's a very slow movie, but like you said, it's the cinematography that Roger Deakins. I don't know if you know who like the name. He
Yeah.
just
Yep.
dude everything that guy touches. Like
The
I
lighting in it alone. I mean, even you just look at the still shots from that set,
yeah.
and
Well,
it's just like they got everything perfect.
I love how that director because he's the Denis Villeneuve, the guy who made that. He's making the new Dune, and you can tell
Oh
he's
wow.
doing the same thing with that, where it's like he's not there to just make a bunch of action set pieces. Like it's about the characters and the world, and you know, and he takes a lot of risks doing that. I think that's why Blade Runner just didn't do as well, is because I think they kind of banked on the idea that they had that cult following from the first one. Um, but I'm one of those people because I've seen the arguments online, like which one is better, and I think the second one. I don't know, man. For me, it's the better one, but I get the following
Hmm.
with the first one. I couldn't see myself watching the first one as much as I have the second one. But
I feel you. I
good.
think my favorite. Yeah, I think my favorite in the first Blade Runner is literally like the end.
I like in the
The
first
scene
one.
and the scene and them fighting and everything there at the very end is a very cool scene.
Yeah.
Um,
For me,
but
that
yeah, the
one's
build
too
up to
meta.
that was the
Too many
building up.
metaphors for me in the first
Yeah,
one. I don't like when you have to
mm,
like as soon as you watch a movie, you're like, I don't know what the hell's going on. Like the only movie that like I respect for doing that is Donnie Darko. Because Donnie Darko was like it didn't give you the answers. Like you had to go figure them out. And
yeah.
like the first Blade Runner, it was like I had to go figure out like what's the deal with the swan? Like what was with the you know what I mean? Like I had to kind of think about it a
What
little
was that
bit
one?
more.
Signs was the one that a lot of people don't like. I didn't like Signs either, but
Science.
that's another.
Um,
Yeah, that's another movie. Mel Gibson.
yeah, I know it. I'm a big M Night Shyamalan fan. I uh
Yeah,
I've seen every single one of his movies. I think that his writing and his style of like camera work and stuff, like his like Unbreakable, where like it opens up and it starts out with like you see the reflection of like the mirror showing what's going on, like those camera angles and stuff like that. I find really cool. Um, so I respect him, but like I definitely see where he went a little overboard or kind of lost his touch, for a bit. I don't know how
hmm.
much you are into his movies, but like The Sixth Sense, I still show that movie to people that have never
So
seen it, and it blows their mind.
we just recently watched all the three movies like Unbreakable, Split, and Glass. That his like anti
Yeah.
superhero movies, I guess would
Hmm.
be the best way to put it. Yeah, we just recently watched those, so I thought those were really like well made.
The ending of
I
Glass
feel like
was.
the glass was just like
I liked it,
they
but
made
the
two
ending
really
was
good
just.
first
Ugh.
ones. Yeah,
Like I
yeah,
get
the
where he was
ending of
going
the
with it, but it's pretty ballsy to kill your main characters, your main characters. It's pretty ballsy.
yeah.
So I
Yeah,
can
the
see why it
third the
wasn't as
third one
popular.
was just I just felt like it was super rushed. It was like, oh well, we did these two really good ones, and now we're just gonna kind of
Dude, when I
just
so
come to this ridiculous point.
I was in San Fran and my sister she came to visit for her birthday. I took her to a Kings of Leon concert and we saw Split. And going into Split, I just thought it was like, all right, like M Night Shyamalan's back to his roots. And then at the end, when there was that reveal that it was a part of the same universe, dude, I started freaking out, and everybody in the movie theater was like, "What is this dude freaking out about?" Like they didn't understand because you know.
Yeah, because
I
he
was
didn't
like,
announce it
"What?"
that it was
Yeah,
a series. They didn't
no.
announce it that it was a series until that movie.
Well, because
But,
you know how like movies when they end, it pops up with like the name, the title, and that's like the sign that the movie's over. So when it popped up and said
mhm.
Split, I was like, "What the like? I don't get this ending." And then it showed the diner scene, and I was like, "No way, dude!" Like
Yeah.
yeah, it just gives me chills just thinking about when that happened. Like that's one of those movies where if I could go back and see it again for the first time, like I'd pay money to do that. You know,
Hmm.
to go see it again for the
Yeah.
first time. And
Freaking. Yeah, James McAvoy, dude, is just
Holy shit,
phenomenal.
dude. Yeah, what an
He's
actor,
such a
man.
good actor. Yeah.
That the scene where she says his name, like Kevin Wendell Crumb, and then he's like switching back and forth between the characters. I was like, dude, that's some acting right there. Cause you see the difference between the characters there. It's not like bullshit, you know?
It gave me chills, especially when he turned into the beast.
Yeah. Cause the whole time you're like, all right, come on, is this just some crazy dude who's gonna like think that he can like jump off buildings and stuff, you know, or something, you know, like. But no,
Mhm.
it was like, what the? Yeah, no, it's a good one.
It was
Uh,
messed up scenes in that movie.
but yeah, you were talking about how Ready Player One did it for you. I think one that has kind of had that impact on me is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I'm a pretty big Tarantino fan.
Dude, I haven't seen it yet. Oh
It's
god.
slow, but
Yeah.
it's one of those. It's your typical Tarantino dialogue focused movies,
Yes.
um, with
Yes.
a
No,
good
I so
payoff.
I'm a huge Tarantino fan and
Yeah,
Robert Rodriguez. I love both of their movies and stuff. So
yeah,
yeah, I love those cult classic kind of movies. But I really love where Tarantino has kind of made it. He's kind of starting to slowly like modernize like how he does his movies
mm-hmm,
instead of making them like too overly like cult classic. I think Death Proof was his last one that he made that was like super cult classic
mm-hmm.
styled. I think, and then from there he's kind of went another direction with how he makes his movies. And I think
Yeah,
he's seen more success out of it. I mean, think of Inglorious Bastards or Django, right?
yeah.
And just how they're all set up, and it's just like,
Did
yeah.
you like the Hateful Eight?
Oh, I love the Hateful Eight. I
Okay,
really, really loved how that one was set up too. I don't know.
yeah,
He's just got his style, man, and
mm-hmm.
the way that he like develops his characters and everything. It's just so gruesome.
Yeah, you have to
Like,
watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, man. I think Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio on the same screen together with Tarantino dialogue is there's nothing like it, man.
so them naming it that movie, was that an ode to Once Upon a Time in Mexico, or
No,
is it just
it's just the you got to go into it like it's grounded in reality and like history, but it's like a fairy tale. It's they think you know they're not real characters
so
and
pretty
stuff.
much kind of the same style as that movie, but in
Yeah,
a obviously a different movie,
yeah.
not in the same like universe,
But
so to speak. Yeah.
so the thing I think the reason why he made that movie is because I think I'm pretty sure he talked about it. Like he grew up during that time period. He was a kid in like the late '60s, right? So like a lot of it is
Yeah.
based off of like his like he remembers like sitting in the back of the car listening to the radio while his dad's driving around Hollywood, you know,
Yeah,
stuff
his
like that.
recollection. Yeah.
So yeah, you can really tell that it's like that movie. If there's one movie out of all the movies he's made, that's the one that you can tell he probably cares the most about. Like his heart is really in that one, you know. So
I'll have to. Yeah, now I really want to watch it.
yeah, like I said, a lot of dialogue, but I mean, if you feel the way about movies that I think you do, I think you'll be pretty invested in the characters and because
Yeah.
I've the people I run into, they either hate it or they love it. So it's pretty much
Yeah.
how it is. I think it's one of his more divisive movies. Like Inglorious
That's
Bastards,
fun.
I like it, but some of the stuff with like the German chick and stuff like that kind of lost me a little bit. Like I just didn't. I wanted more of like Brad Pitt and you know the Inglorious Bastards like killing Nazis, you know, and it just didn't,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know. But it's a good movie. You can see that that movie influenced him a lot, you know. So
Yeah, since then, like I said, since then he's made his movies a lot different.
yeah,
So, and it's been really cool to kind of see that shift. Like
yeah.
I said, I really like Django. I watched that again and I was like, gosh, this is such a good freaking western. Like,
I love westerns, man.
like,
That's why I like Mandalorian.
oh
I love the western
yeah,
vibes in that.
yeah, yeah. No, it's just so good, man. Oh, speaking of Mandalorian, I don't know if you want to spoil it. Like, if I don't know, like people listening to this or
This
whatever, if you
probably
want to
isn't gonna come
spoil
out
anything.
because I'm a couple episodes ahead. And I release two a week now. That's because
Mhm.
I see a lot of people are doing podcasts where it's like the weekly thing, and it's like
Yep.
this. Honestly, it takes me the least amount of time to edit because it's raw, you know. So I think I can do
Yep.
two a week, or you know, there might be a week here and there where I only release one, but I'm trying to build up a little bit of a library so that when I do move in like a month is what it's looking like, then I'll still be able to put out an episode, you know.
There you go.
So, um,
But no, the end of the last episode of Mandalorian, my wife had already fallen asleep, which she has to watch it, but I was screaming at the TV.
yeah, I had to like stop and rewind it. I was like, "Is that?" And I was like, "That's him." I was like, and my girlfriend had no idea. Like uh,
Yeah.
she
Not only
because
that,
she was
it's the
filming.
same actor. That's what, like,
Mhm.
it wasn't CGI, nothing. It was the same freaking actor. Like,
Yeah,
I was so happy, man.
I can't wait to see what they do with him. Can't wait.
Which answers the long, it answers that long term question that everybody had about that character too. So
Yeah, they have to explain how that character made it out of that situation. So
yeah,
yeah,
because it's insurmountable how he would have, right?
yeah. I was I can't think of his name. The guy who played the guy wearing the Boba Fett armor, the Marshal. That guy's a
Yeah,
really good actor. So I was
I can't
when he
remember
pulled
his
off
name
his
right now,
helmet.
but
You know who I'm talking about, though. Like that guy's
yeah,
been in a couple things. I think I've been meaning to go watch. I think he kind of made his name in that show Justified, right? That was like his show. That was a Western show.
right.
So
Yeah, I
I
think
got to
so,
go
maybe.
watch that at some point because I like him as an actor. Like when he pulled off his helmet, I was like, oh hey, because he was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood also.
Right.
So yeah,
I know that guy.
yeah. I nerd out about stuff like that. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
that's the
but
guy from whatever.
Disney's
know?
got such a huge pocketbook, dude. They can have
Yeah,
anybody
they can
they
have
want in
anybody.
that show.
Yeah, I'm sure Bill
It-
Burr will come back and stuff for sure.
yeah, that made me happy when he when he was in it. I was like, yes, Bill
It was
freaking Burr.
the dialogue they wrote for him was perfect. He still had
Yeah.
that like witty, goofy ass Bill Burr type of feel to him. It wasn't like he was
Mm-hmm.
playing a character, you know.
Yeah. He was just super good in Breaking Bad too.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No, yeah,
Like his character in that was just perfect.
yeah.
Breaking Bad was so like that was such a greatly like cast like show.
Did you watch El
Like
Camino?
El Camino.
It shows
Oh
what happens to Jesse
yeah.
after
Sorry. Yeah.
Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
No, I
was
did watch
I
it.
liked it. I thought it was pretty good.
I liked it too. There were a lot of people who hated it, but I did like how it ended.
I feel like a lot of people are
Because
like,
leaves a lot of. He could have went the dark route and like let him down this
yeah,
dark path, but for him to just kind of just take off and lead this better life for himself, that I thought that was a good way to end it. On a
yeah,
happy note versus going dark, because he already ended it on a dark note with Breaking Bad. Like, why would he have to do that for Jesse?
yeah. I was just worried that since it was a movie and it was Netflix, that it wouldn't feel the same as Breaking Bad. But I feel like they nailed the vibes of it perfectly. And then I could see how people were like, it's not necessary to make that story, but like I felt like it gave some closure that wasn't there when the show ended.
Right.
So I was happy with it. Have you watched Better Call Saul at all? It's a little harder
Yes,
to get into, but
I'm waiting to watch I think it's the last season. I don't know. I can't remember how many
uh,
seasons there are away from it ending or whatever. But
but
yeah, I love that show.
yeah, it's just it's taking its
I didn't
time.
think they could do a show like that with Breaking Bad. I didn't think he was going
Yeah,
to be able to roll it into, but it literally has the same vibes. It's just from
yeah.
Saul's
It
perspective.
it just definitely doesn't have the same following, which is unfortunate. But I
Yeah.
like it. I like what's his name? Saul. I don't know who I forgot his name.
Um,
The guy who plays him. But
God, you
I've
could
always
ask
liked
me.
him as an actor. Bob
Yeah.
Odenkirk.
Yep. There you go.
There we go, baby. See, there's my knowledge kicking in. Uh yeah,
He's actually from Illinois
oh really?
too.
Okay.
Yep.
But yeah,
So the fact that he's actually playing he plays a guy from Chicago, that's actually where he's from. So
yeah.
it worked out perfectly. That role just perfectly slotted in for him.
Yeah. But I really like him as an actor too. So I'm always anytime I see him in anything, I give it a second look and like, is that worth watching? You know? So all right, man. Well, we've been chilling for almost 2.5 hours, so time
Yeah.
flies. Good talking to you, man.
My
I,
wife
I,
is like waving me on the other side
yeah,
of the screen over here.
I
She's
thought
like,
something was going on. I was like, I think we gotta go.
Yeah, it was just like, "Oh, man, I wanna keep talking."
Yeah. That's the thing with this stuff. You get like I feel like it takes like a good about 45 minutes or so to like get into a good groove and then like you just want to keep talking. That's why like I usually have people on more than once or I plan to. Chunky Hustle is the first one I've had on twice. So
Dude, that guy's personality is bigger than life itself.
dude, I love Chunky Hustle, man. It's always
Uh,
interesting to have listen to him talk about TikTok because he's been on TikTok for a while. So
mhm.
yeah. All right, man. Well, I'll definitely
Got a
have to hit you
closing
up.
statement or anything like that that you wanna throw at the end of
Nah,
this?
not really. It's usually just like,
Okay,
definitely play some games,
there
man. I gotta hit you up about that Hunt Showdown. It was definitely I'll probably try it offline so that because I feel like trying a game for the first time on stream is sometimes not the best because you like don't know what you're doing. I played Apex for the first time in a while. People were just making fun of me like not knowing what to do, even though I had played it before. It had been so long.
it's yeah, it's freaking that's so much more fast
Yeah,
paced. It's
but
like
yeah, man.
Halo, but faster.
Yeah, but great talk, man. I was happy to get to know you better because your name caught my eye a couple times. I was like, I feel like I've heard somebody talk about it. I was like, oh yeah, Bad Bear. So it's like, yeah,
Yeah,
when you reached
I've
out
kinda
about that
popped
thing.
around, man, but, I'm just trying to get to know people in the COD community and people I think that, would be good to work with. The biggest thing too, though, is that, I'm still branching out and getting to know people that are smaller as well, but I always try to extend myself out to people who got a little bit of a bigger following and stuff like that because
Yeah,
those are the people that I wanna work with more in the sense that they're going to handle themselves a lot more professionally.
yeah, exactly.
Um, the some of the some of the people that I've worked with here recently, and done streams with, like they're not experienced with doing collabs. They're kind of awkward at first, and not to mention like some people were like dropping like one guy like said like retard and um
Yeah.
a couple other like little derogatory terms and oh he said faggot too.
Oh man, yeah, you got to be
And
careful. You can't be.
I'm just like, Jesus, I am so
Oh,
happy I don't have 100 plus people watching me right now. Like,
yeah,
because then I even said that to him. I was like, dude, I said, kill it out. I said, kill it on the derogatory terms. I even stopped him like right on stream. I was like, kill it on the derogatory terms or we will not work
yeah.
together
No,
again.
I've had to tell people before. I'm like, hey, take it easy, man. Don't be saying that. Like it's just not. Don't be throwing that around. That's not
Because
something
they
you should be
forget that
saying.
they're on, there's, that's why I usually only work with streamers when I'm streaming
Hmm.
because they just don't understand you
Yeah.
know,
No, I totally
like
get you.
you could end my career just by you saying something stupid.
Yeah.
And it's
I
not even
mean,
my fault that you said it, that you said it. It's just
so
that's
I haven't been doing as many collabs as I probably should have. I feel like I definitely want to start doing more collabs. But
but
I
yeah,
feel like I'm a very chill, quiet person.
if you're starting now to experience those negative sides to working with people, I experienced that burnout real early in my Twitch career. So now I'm finally to that point now within like the first like 2 weeks to a month of like working with somebody, I can tell whether or not they're in it for themselves or they're actually trying to work with us. And so
Yeah.
that's actually in our community, we run two stream teams and we have the higher up team, which is ESN. And so those are like all the people that like handle their stream on a career based level, as well as they are also tied into our contracts with our talent agency that we work with. We're on
Okay.
contract with them. That's actually how we got the front page slots.
Okay.
uh, yeah, so our talent agency hooked us up. We actually got some sponsorships and stuff like that. I actually cried on stream the other day because we got offered some big sponsorships.
That's awesome, dude.
Opportunities. So more front page. So with this sponsorship, we're going to get front page opportunities every month, and then on top of that, some paid stuff as well. So I was just like, holy crap! Like this is the first big break that any of us have ever had. Even my partnered friends who run the community with me.
Yeah.
So it's a big deal. But yeah, no, I'm excited to finally be working with people that respect my time as much as I respect theirs, and so
It's good, man.
I
I'm happy for
I
you.
finally starting to find my I'm just
There you
finally
go.
starting to find my groove when I started doing this full time back in November, man. After I'd lost my job, it was really eye opening how much time I had wasted, especially working that job and being miserable and everything like that, putting all that time into that.
Hmm.
Now I could finally put all this time into myself. So I feel like this last year has just been like the biggest growth for me because I'm starting to focus more on myself and then also how I handle my business on a professional level. Like this talk show, for instance, like I've done I the very first talk show I did, dude, I was like freaking just like super like scared and jittery and like, didn't know how to handle myself. And I purposely like do talk shows now because it helps with how I talk with other people and other streamers, and especially getting asked the dreaded question of what is your stream and what are you about, and like just those simple things. And I do that now every time I do a collab stream with somebody. I'll have them
Hmm.
explain their content and everything to my stream, and some of these newer guys that I've had on, they're just like and so then I'll laugh at them and I'll be like, you got to know this, you got to know this when you work with other people, you got to know what you're about. And then they're like, oh, I never thought of it that way. And it's like, well, you got to start thinking that way. So it's a good teachable moment for those people.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. No, that's
dude,
awesome,
yeah,
man.
it's awesome to get to know you, dude, and it's really cool to kind of see, how much me and you have in common. So,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
excited to get to work with you in the future and hopefully do more stuff together.
Yeah, for sure,
So,
man. I'll definitely be reaching out to you so we can set something up so
but
we
yeah,
can play
dude,
the hunt.
if you need anybody to vent to or talk to about stupid crap that's going on, feel free to hit me up anytime. I always keep my stuff confidential. That's how I am, especially people that that I'm trying to build a friendship with.
Hey,
So,
likewise, man.
um, yeah, if you got anything you need to vent about or anything, hit me up anytime. I've been on this platform a long time. I've been on some super high highs and some super low lows, and so I know how it is, man. And
All right,
I
man.
I give pretty decent advice, I would say. But
Yeah.
I got my two partnered buddies, Flibbity Flame and General Andrews, and you'll hear me mention them a lot. They're like the co-owners to this community that we built together, and they're like my right hand guys, and they keep me really, really, really grounded in everything, and especially how I handle myself, not only as a business person, but also as a human being.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've changed so much over the last couple of years of working with them as a person because they've corrected a lot of bad habits that I've had. And like I said earlier when we were talking together, investing in people, bad people, just because I'm so giving of myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so
I
yeah,
get
you
it,
get
man.
you get in that bad cycle of just investing in awful people and hoping that you'll be a good influence for them, or that you can help them grow or whatever, and they just don't give a crap about you. And it's the same thing. That's why I always try to tell people not to separate real life from this content creation, that people like over romanticize streaming or content creation in general. And I'm like, this is just like any other job.
Yeah.
There's people that are going to be cutthroat with this, and there's going to be people who actually give a crap about you, and you just got to find whatever works to figure that out in hopefully a short amount of time, because time is all we got in this world, and especially with content creation, heck, 2 weeks is like a year in our time in
Yeah.
content creation.
I feel it. Yeah. Like people tell me like, "Hey, man, I've been following for 3 months now," and I'm like, "Dude, it's been 3 months." I'm
Hmm.
like, "Dude, that's crazy." Just the concept of
I had
time gets
somebody
so
resub.
warped.
I had somebody resub to me the other day, and they've been subbed to me for the 4 years that I've been on the platform, and I was like, oh my
Jeez,
god, it feels like I just started this yesterday.
that's crazy, man.
But yeah, I'll let you go, brother. It's been awesome getting to know you. Let's set up something soon. I don't know if you got anything going on next week. Oh, sorry, I can't do anything next week. I was just getting
Okay,
ready to
well,
make plans, and I don't have it. The following week after that. Sorry,
yeah.
because
Let me know.
next week
Let me know what you
our,
got. It'll.
I'm sure you heard us stack up um, the charity for veterans.
No, I didn't hear about it.
You have not heard about Stack Up. Oh, I'll have to send you some info on it.
Okay.
But we're doing a charity drive for it next week. And last time I did it, I rose like $1,500. But essentially, what they do is they put together like gaming packages for active duty military, as well as veterans. And then on top of that, they also provide mental health like outreach and stuff like that. So any vets that need somebody to talk to, they got like their own hotline for it. They also have like meetups and stuff like that for veterans. They also send veterans and active duty people out to like gaming trips. So they like send people to TwitchCon for free or like GamesCon or what have you. They send them out to it for free. And so it's just they do a lot of really really good stuff. And I've
Yeah.
worked really really closely with them for the past like 2 years. And this year is actually the first year that I've got to work with them with our community, the 8-Bit Dojo. So we're really, really excited to work with them. But they got us, they're actually trying to get us front page slots and stuff like that for next week. So that's why I was getting ready to tell you we could work next week, but then I don't know exactly what I'm doing because Twitch is dragging their feet yet once again on what our time slots are.
Okay.
They've got
Yeah.
they've gotten really, really bad. We were talking about how they don't communicate well. They've gotten really, really, really bad about gatekeeping the front page.
Yeah.
And because last year when I did Stack Up, I was on the front page 3 times, I think. And the community manager, she got a hold of me and she's like, all right, it was like a couple days before, but she's like, all right, these are the times that you're going to be on. And, we got all the information. Well, this year she's like, Twitch is going to be emailing you directly on what your time slots are. I was like, so they're not sending you that information. They're going to send it. So they're gatekeeping it now. She's like, yep. And I was like, so she's like, yeah, it could be a day before. It could be day of. And they're going to send you an email whether or not you have a front page slot for that day.
Yeah. How
like,
are you supposed to hype it up
me.
when you don't know when it's going to be?
Yeah, how are you supposed to plan around that? And it was the same thing with this front page slot. The reason why that was so last minute is because our rep who was working with us, she was trying to get times from them and they wouldn't give it to her until like literally like 3 days before the event. So she's like, you gotta be freaking kidding me. So it helped, even if you're directly connected to them, it doesn't matter.
Gotcha.
They're kind of screwing around. So if I can work something out, I'll let you know. And I, because I do want to play COD during one of those front page slots.
Yeah,
so if I can
I'm
work
down.
something out, I'll get a hold of you and let you know. And maybe we can have you jump on one of those.
Yeah. My
If
community
not,
loves COD, so it'd be a good one to hype up.
Yeah, who would have known? Well, and it'd be good because you're a vet too. I planned on any stream that I had, I was going to be playing with vets, so it actually works out. All right, cool, man. Well, I'll let you know. Let you know as soon as possible, and we'll talk about the following week too. We can just kind of plan ahead. I know you're getting ready to move and stuff, so I don't know when that's all going into action.
It looks like we're probably not moving until next month, so we get the rest of this month pretty much.
Good. Oh, December, man, that's gonna be a heck of a time to move.
Yeah.
That's all right, dude.
Yeah.
I'm stoked for you and looking forward to working with you in the future, man.
Yeah, man. Great talk.